That's big.
Now, time for Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? It is Friday. We are here until 6 p.m. We don't have giveaves today. We'll see you tomorrow. Aztec pregame begins.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Great weekend. Here's some of the best of Jon and Jim.
That was a great show today. That was awesome. I like that show.
Cynthia
Your
Freeland,
gift is an extra hour.
Yes, your gift is we'll be with you for the next 4 hours. Maybe you're driving from Los Angeles to San Diego on a Friday afternoon. We'll be with you for all 4 hours. Or maybe you're going from San Diego to Orange County or LA. We'll be with you for all 4 hours. Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network, will join us at 4 p.m. today. So we'll talk to her. Really, obviously, you look at the state of things in the NFC and where Detroit is positioned now after last night, and they are really well situated. We'll talk to Cynthia Freeland coming up at 4 p.m. We've spent a lot of time, obviously, this offseason talking about the Padres, and we know what the Dodgers have done. We know where the Padres are financially. And then we learned today, and this isn't official, and there'll be a ton of speculation, Jim, over the winter meetings, which I think officially starts Sunday night, but the real work begins on Monday. But there's speculation today. Susan Slusser covers the San Francisco Giants. She writes that they have sincere interest in Corbin Burnes, who is a massive free agent starting pitcher out there. We know the Dodgers have already done their work in starting pitching with Blake Snell. We said yesterday, are the A's going to outspend the Padres? But now you look around the National League and this division specifically, we know the Dodgers are always going to be tough to keep up with, so to speak, keep up with the Joneses, no pun intended. My son is Jones. But now you look at a team like San Francisco, and, they've been down by and large. They've been down. They had that 107-win season, I think, back in 2021. Of course, they have all the World Series back in the 2010s, but they haven't, the Padres have been as competitive, if not more competitive, than the Giants over the last 4 or 5 years on average. But it's the Dodgers. It's the Giants. We saw the Diamondbacks in the World Series within the last 2 years. Like, there's some keeping up that the Padres are going to need to do, and it's not just Los Angeles this offseason.
With the Giants getting a basically new regime there, other than manager.
Yes. Yep.
Belmo, or is Belmo? No. Bomel.
Belmo. Put a video out. I'm done. I can't do this for 4 hours.
Bevmo. Why did I call him Belmo?
I'm fairly convinced there's something wrong with you right now.
Why did I call Bob Melvin Belmo? Can anybody answer that?
Man, then earlier this week you said more powerfuler, and
I need that, Brent. That's got to be made into a cut. At some point, you have it marked somewhere, so we're going to need that for the future. You've turned red.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
So what? Yeah, Belmo.
No,
I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about Bob Melvin?
Talking about freaking Bob Melvin.
Okay.
Where I was going with this
Bevmo.
was Bevmo. They have Bevmo in charge.
Sponsor us.
Yeah, sponsor us. Get us drunk. Bob Melvin's their manager, but other than that, a completely new front office with Buster Posey, a new GM there. You're thinking to yourself that, okay, Giants probably going to want to make a splash here, because when you usually get a new GM in a market like that, coming off of some really disappointing seasons, and the fan base is like on edge a little bit, like, hey guys, let's go. What are we doing here?
And all they try to do is spend, and then they get rejected from their spending. Like
Aaron Judge, Bryce Harper back in the day.
Be like, yeah, nobody really wants to come here. There's crime.
And now he's the GM or the president of baseball operations.
I honestly don't think that's the case. I think the truth is a lot like Severino deal. If you're going to throw out cash on average, you're going to get the player.
Yeah, you're going to have to pay a little more.
Maybe. Yeah. People are making fun of you.
People in the chat says, did you mean to say BOGO?
Oh my gosh.
No, that's a whole different story. Corbin Burnes. If you were to ask me, who would you take, Corbin Burnes or Blake Snell for the next 5 years?
Probably Burnes.
Not even close.
Yeah. I agree. Now, Snell has the higher upside, could have that unbelievable 15.
Snell has the better stuff.
Yeah.
He has, that no-hit stuff. Corbin Burnes, though.
Burnes a frontline guy.
Did win a Cy Young in Milwaukee. He's a frontline guy. He can give you 200 innings every single year, unlike Blake Snell.
The funny thing is about 2025, we talked about this last night in the wrap-up show, is that the truth is we're all in on Sasaki, and you should be, Padres fans. You absolutely should be. I'm not going to tell you not to be, but the truth is, Jim, being completely unbiased with Padres fans, if you could have Snell or Burnes or Sasaki just for 2025, no one's taking Sasaki just for 2025. You're thinking about the bridge to 2026 and beyond, and he could be an amazing piece he could be a top 5 Cy Young Award winner or a vote getter at some point in the next 2 or 3 years. I mean, nobody really has any idea. But in the here and now, Blake Snell's won a Cy Young in the last couple of years. Corbin Burns has been a frontline guy the last couple of years. Roki Sasaki, there's an element of maybe it's a project, at least initially. A little bit like Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who's older than Roki Sasaki. So Sasaki's more about the now and the future. Burns and Snell are about winning games right now in this division.
And later in the show, there is an MLB analyst who linkens Roki Sasaki as to a pitcher in baseball today that if he turned out to be that pitcher in his rookie year, yeah, it's going to be really good.
Okay, so he likens him to someone that had a good rookie year?
Yes, in baseball.
Okay.
Yeah. So pitching wise.
Okay.
But if you don't get Roki Sasaki here, like if the dominoes fall like this,
Burns
goes to the Giants, Snell's already going to the Dodgers, Sasaki goes to the Dodgers too. What are you left with, San Diego?
I don't think they're going to put that on the banners outside Petco Park. What are you left with, San Diego? ? That's not going to be the slogan for the year. No, it's interesting when you lay it out that way. There's another way the dominoes fall, and Sasaki just doesn't go to San Diego, and he doesn't go to LA. You know what I mean? But that's also not ideal because again, Burns and Snell, and you've lost Joe Musgrove. Like your Snell-esque pitcher, right? Or your Burns-esque pitcher.
Yeah.
Joe Musgrove's one of those guys. I mean, I would say the same thing about Dylan Cease or Michael King. They're capable of producing top 5 Cy Young seasons, but you make a good point. They're not going to spend on free agent starters. It's going to be via trade. If they don't land Sasaki, they will attempt to land a big fish via trade in terms of a starting pitcher would be my guess.
With what?
Exactly. That's the problem. They did that with Cease and King last offseason.
Yeah.
And they've done it with Musgrove. I mean, going back in the years, they've done it with a lot of guys.
Yeah. The only 2 big time prospects in your organization, Salas and DeVries, you don't want to move those guys. And if you move them, you can get that big piece back. But then it's right back to the conversations that we had before this with Preller is, hey, can you keep on your own prospects like one time and see if they can develop? And then look what happens. Jackson Merrill. So, like you want Salas and DeVries here. It's just going to take some time. But they're also not in a situation where they can afford to just sit and wait as an organization.
And also, let's just say, I mean, what do Salas and DeVries mean to your? You can't count on them at all for your big league club, and you can't count on moving them to bolster your big league club. You're in like this no man's land with Salas and DeVries. You want them to contribute to your big league club for a decade, let's say. You want them to be the next Jackson Merrill, right?
Correct.
But you don't want them to be the next Jackson Merrill in 2025. I mean, of course, if you could snap your fingers, you would take it. But Ethan Salas, go to his baseball reference page right now. He's 18. Like he's 18 right now. And I think Leo DeVries is 18 right now. There's no 19. I mean, the Jackson Merrill thing was amazing. And he was 20, turned 21 a week into the season. There's no 19-year-old catcher like in baseball history that's paid dividends. And there's no 19-year-old shortstop starting in the big leagues for the Padres next year. So you're just sitting and waiting is my point, which is fine. I want to develop those players too. But you're right. It doesn't allow you to address your needs. You're not going to trade them for starting pitching, and they're not going to help your club in 2025.
Yeah. So we sit here again, a couple days away from the winter meetings.
Yep.
I think Preller, the way that he has to make moves is going to be like anything he's done in the past with not a lot to do it with. He doesn't have that piece that everyone's like, yeah, trade. Like, I'm not sitting here at all advocating to trade Salas and DeVries. I want them to keep Salas and DeVries. But there's been years where we're like, I would trade this piece. Like, I'm good with trading this piece. Trade that, get something back. You need to get this piece. You need to get this piece back. And I'm sitting here kind of wondering to myself, how is he going to do that?
Who the hell is on the Padres top 10 prospect list other than Ethan? I'm pulling it up right now from the end of last year because it'll change. But like, you want to
Tirso, I forget his last name. He's an outfielder, I think.
Tirso, an outfielder.
Is he on the top 10?
No.
Okay.
Can I read you the top 10 at MLB.com?
Sure. I am.
Can I be honest with you?
Very curious to hear this.
Some of these guys I'm not overly for. Here's the issue with their top 10 prospects. I'll tell you right now. Their top 5 are 19 or younger, like rookie ball guys or A ball guys, not double A or higher prospects. So they're not going to allow you to reap rewards right away for the major league team. Here are their top 10 prospects at MLB.com. And then they put an ETA next to the player. Estimated time of arrival to the big leagues.
Okay.
This is fascinating. Ethan Salas, they say 2026. Okay, whatever. Just hold them, just allow it to happen. That's not 2025, right?
Right.
Leo DeVries, 2027. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Cash Mayfield, left-handed pitcher, 19 years of age. They say 2028.
Okay.
Boston Bateman. These are strong names. Cash Mayfield and Boston Bateman. Left-handed pitcher, rookie ball, 19, 2028. Humberto Cruz, right-handed pitcher, rookie ball, 17, 2029. Gavaris Tears, outfielder, rookie ball, 22 years of age somehow, 2027. Henry Baez, right-handed pitcher, 22, 2026. Isaiah Lowe, the Combine Academy, North Carolina. I don't even know who he is. Victor Lizarraga, they say 2025. And then Cale Fountain. That's my dream name. If I could be renamed, my name would be Cale Fountain.
Cale Fountain.
I would do Cale and Jim show.
I don't know if that would sell because we could make a lot of money off of kale products.
Fountain?
Yeah.
Dude,
Please.
there you go. Your second child.
Cale Fountain.
How did
Cale
Schaefer.
Fountain Schaefer.
How did you not name Jones Kale?
It's such a good name. You're right.
Kale Schaefer.
I have a shirt that just says Cale.
Kale Schaefer just rolls right off the tongue.
Cale Fountain. Anyway, he's 19 and he's expected to reach the big leagues in 2028. Their top 10 prospects, Jim, nobody is supposed to reach the big leagues next year other than Victor Lizarraga, who's a 21-year-old right-handed starter that last year was in Double-A. So there's no immediate help coming. And among this group, who are you trading away for big-time returns? Trading 17-year-old pitchers for big-time returns?
One pitcher that Mike Farron talked to us about that could be an option, Shane Bieber.
Okay.
Buster Olney is reporting Shane Bieber is returning to the Guardians.
So that's not San Diego.
No, it's not.
Unless
it's
the
Cleveland.
Padres changed their name.
Right.
Okay.
To the San Diego Guardians.
He's going back to Cleveland?
That is what is being
How
reported
much
right now.
money? Because he made no starts last year because he's hurt, right?
Correct. And the money-wise, John, I don't know.
I bet that's going to be pretty reasonable.
Probably. And that was a name you're like, hey.
He was keep an eye on Shane Bieber, and I was keeping an eye on him.
Yeah. Hey, you got to work with what you got. And that's a guy that coming off of surgery, made a couple starts last year, probably could come back, probably could be somewhat on the cheap. Yeah, it's an option. And then now he's going back to Cleveland. So mark that off the board.
But this is an interesting conversation about how do you bolster your rotation without having a farm system that's bolstered itself? So we'll continue that conversation. Plus, has there been an about face on the golden at bat rule, the rule that just will not die? We will take shots at Darrell Tripp from NBC7 at 2:30. And we're here until 6 p.m. It's Jon and Jim. We lied.
What's new?
Well, now it just I don't. I'll do the read letter. What's that? Is that cool? You want me to do the read? I'll tell you what we lied about. We didn't have any giveaways, I said, but we have great, amazing, one-of-a-kind giveaways, truthfully. Like, these are really good giveaways that I'll tell you about. We didn't know about them until right now, so I'll tell you about them in a second. Also, a reminder, join San Diego Sports 760, ESET, SeaWorld, and Sesame Place to support Rady Children's Hospital this holiday season. Hear stories of hope and healing from Rady Children's patients and families during the iHeart Rady Children's Give-a-thon. Supported by ESET, your digital guardians. Make a donation today by texting KGB to 51555 or donate at radyfoundation.org/giveathon and listen next Wednesday and Thursday. So listen to this, Jim. We have a pair of tickets today to the DirecTV Holiday Bowl at Snapdragon Stadium.
What?
We have a pair of tickets to the DirecTV Holiday Bowl, which includes the 1015 KGB Sky Show. Friday, December 27th, for the first time ever, by the way, at Snapdragon Stadium. That matchup will be announced on Sunday. We have 2 free tickets. We'll do it during Trainwreck Radio. We also have 2 pairs of tickets for the Aztecs' next basketball game after this weekend. It's Wednesday night against Cal Baptist. They've actually had a decent year. San Diego State, Cal Baptist on Wednesday. We have 2 pairs of tickets to give away. One of those pairs we'll give away this hour. So be listening, a chance to win some tickets to see the Aztecs at VA House Arena coming up next Wednesday. You'll have that chance this hour. There's a lot going on with baseball because, again, the winter meetings are days away. John Heyman is doing podcasts with his bad voice, saying the teams are throwing out $700 million. 4 teams have $700 million offers for Juan Soto. I don't buy that for 1 second.
Well, you know why he is saying that? And we'll hear from him later
because
in the
of
show.
his ties to...
No, because the Mets manager...
Mendoza?
Carlos Mendoza?
Yeah.
His son... did you see this? Apparently not. His son,
I may have, though,
on Instagram, posted a comment on a post or a reel or whatever in a chat that said that the Mets have offered Juan Soto 15 years, $700 million.
Was that in reply to one of our reels?
No, it was not.
Okay. Wasn't it Jon and Jim?
And everyone's like freaking out.
15 years, 700.
And since then, he has deactivated his account.
Probably because he's an idiot.
So now Mets fans are freaking out, thinking like, wait a second here. Is that really true? Are the Mets offering Juan Soto 15 years, $700 million?
But which, by the way, is the AAV that we both forecasted earlier this week.
About 45?
46.67 was like an AAV. One of us threw that out. If we had the audio.
I threw out, I think it was
no, we said less
13 years through 635. That would have equaled around 45.
Right.
Something.
And I said, I want to say like 605.
Yeah, you did not go
I said 605.
High.
And it came out to like 45 or 46. I think the AAV is going to be right. I think the AAV is going to be 45, 46. I don't think there's multiple $700 million offers. And there's no world where anyone's going over $700 million. Why would you pay $700 million for Soto?
Scott Boras is sitting there laughing his ass off because he is getting all his little cronies in the media to bump this offer up as much as possible. And these teams are probably sitting there freaking out.
Do you agree? And listen, I mean, we've had this conversation so much. I know you agree. And again, it's not our money, and other organizations have much more when it comes to resources, like the Mets with Steve Cohen. But is it regretful? $700 million for Juan Soto, who's a very good player and has won a World Series and been to another. And he is a very good player, but is that worth it? I mean, what does worth it really mean? You better be winning some World Series for $700 million.
For the Mets,
you're selling tickets.
It doesn't really, I think, matter because Steve Cohen's not going to sit there and be like, oh, man, lost some money today. Right. Oh, I just made another $1 billion. Like, he's not as worried about it as, say, maybe the Blue Jays would be, or even kind of the Yankees. I feel like would be a little worried if they gave a $700 million contract.
Cost, like, conscious.
Yeah, Steinbrenner's son is not his dad.
Correct.
Not even close. I think the Dodgers would be fine because they have just like loads of cash just pouring into Dodger Stadium left and right. and they can eventually they will be able to pay all that. And if they've got Juan Soto for a $600 million plus contract, well, they have Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts and Freddie and Blake, and so they're fine. I think the teams that aren't really on the cusp, or they don't have an owner that's just like throwing money around, it would be a problem. I would never sign Juan Soto to that type of contract ever. But if you're the Mets and I'm Steve Cohen and I can afford it, why wouldn't you do that? Like in life, if you go to the store and you see like eggs for like the best eggs ever, best tofu ever, right? It's like,
thank you.
And how much is tofu regularly?
I've never bought anything.
Are you
Kristen, I have
serious?
no idea. I don't know what's it cost to buy milk. $100? 5 cents? I have no idea.
What?
I don't buy anything.
You don't go to the store?
Never, ever, 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 ever. Kristen buys everything online. I pick it up. I haven't been in a grocery store ever.
16 ounces is $250.
Since online ordering.
What? Okay. It's $250 for tofu?
Yeah, for 16 ounces. I don't know if that's a lot of
$50?
tofu.
So if you get like tofu that is like $10, you can afford a $10 thing, right? You're not sitting there.
Well, I'm not gonna like take out a loan for $10 tofu.
I know, but what I'm saying is, if it's like the best tofu ever,
it's $10. And how much is the average tofu? $2?
Like $2,
right?
You're gonna and you can afford it. You're like, okay, I can do it.
Right. Okay.
That's what Steve Cohen is doing. Is like, I can afford it.
It's
it
like
might
buy
be
an expensive car.
Yeah.
Me and you aren't doing it because we can't afford an expensive car.
It might be 4 times the average, tofu out there, but I can afford it.
For me, it's what I want.
It's what I want. And that's what I think some owners like Steve Cohen and then the Dodgers with their money and maybe the Yankees, they can afford to do that. But every other team, they're like looking at that $10 tofu and being like, you know what? The $250 tofu, I want that instead. I'm not going to pay $10 for this.
By the way, Shane Bieber's deal with Cleveland, 1 year with a player option for a second year. I mean, that to me, now I don't know the dollars yet, but that's the type of player that the Padres you would think would have an interest in. Guy coming off injury, low cost, high reward. We'll see the terms on it. Short term, need someone at the back of your rotation. This is the type of pitcher that the Padres hopefully will be in on. Not Shane Bieber himself is now back to Cleveland, but this is the type of pitcher the Padres need to be in on. All right, Darrell Tripp went further than either of us have gone when it comes to Roki Sasaki, and he did it on social media with a reel. And you will hear from Darrell Tripp at NBC7 on the other side. It's Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. A pitcher on the free agent market that the Padres may have been connected to. Shane Bieber is in agreement on a 1-year, $14 million contract that includes a $16 million player option for the 2026 season. He's not expected to return to the middle of 2025. Aztecs football news of the day. Danny O'Neill had surgery on his non-throwing shoulder, according to Paul Garrison of the East Village Times. Moving over to Aztec basketball tomorrow night. They take on USD, 7 p.m. tip time, 6 p.m. pregame. You can listen to that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. And NFL action this Sunday that you can listen to on 760. Raiders versus the Bucks in the morning, Bills versus Rams in the afternoon, and then Chargers and the Chiefs is the nightcap for Sunday Night Football. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at progressive.com. That's progressive.com.
Padres only have two paths to really add starting pitching. It's Roki Sasaki, the sweepstakes, the roulette wheel, right? There's 30 teams. Hopefully they can land them. Maybe they have a better shot than that because they've been connected to it. But again, it's not like we can say right now they're the favorite. What are you guys thinking?
The Padres have made a move.
Okay.
The Padres have re-signed Mason McCoy to a minor league deal.
Stop.
So it's a move. What? It's a move.
How many times will we say Mason McCoy on the radio from March 27th until the end of the World Series?
You just said it.
No, from March 27th until the end of the World Series.
I think at least like 3.
On the radio.
Yeah.
I'll take the under. So Mason McCoy has been signed to a minor league deal. But here's the thing. The Padres are either going to trade for a starter or they're going to land Roki Sasaki, because if Shane Bieber, who had Tommy John last year and didn't pitch, is getting $14 million for next year, he's not even going to pitch until the middle of the season. He's going to get $14 million. Then he's going to opt out of that deal. And if he's healthy, he's going to get a bigger deal for 2026. Then tell me the path to adding starting pitching that isn't Roki Sasaki or a trade. If this guy got $14 million, how can you go get a starting pitcher?
I don't know.
And stay within your budget?
Trade. You have to trade.
Only option, right?
Like the only option.
Only option.
Only option is trade. You are not signing any pitcher, because if a guy who's not even going to pitch to the middle of the season is getting 14 guaranteed with a 16 million option for the following year, not happening. Not happening.
Right.
Frankie Montas is getting 20 plus mil. Luis Severino yesterday from the A's is getting 20 plus mil.
Yep.
Not happening.
Right. So
and it makes me very worried about their chances to keep Michael King or Dylan Cease. Because those guys,
because of how much money's involved in starting pitching.
Well, those two guys are infinitely better than the guys I just named.
Absolutely. They're
it's
going to
not
get
even close.
More years, more money per year.
At this point in time, they're well over $100 million contracts, easily for both those guys.
Well, there's been inflation since the Musgrove deal around baseball. That 5 for 100, like Dylan Cease,
that's a steal right now.
Blow that out of the water.
The 5 for 100 is a steal if you're signing a starting pitcher. But now the deal for Joe doesn't look good because he's been hurt a lot.
Yeah.
But if you just, on face value, you sign a frontline starting pitcher all-star to a 5 for 100, that's a steal.
What would you forecast a Michael King extension to look like? How would you compare it to a Dylan Cease extension? I think we both believe King is more likely than Cease. How would you forecast that?
Let me look here.
King is young.
Young-ish. He's going to be in his 30s, if he's not already. I don't.
He's not in his 30s right now. Right?
He's not like 24 years old, John.
No. But there's a difference between 24 and 30. He's 29.
Okay, because he's going to be in his 30s here soon.
Okay.
I look at a guy like Kevin Gausman. Okay.
He got paid, man.
He did get paid.
Cease is younger.
Yes.
Than King.
And he's going to get more money. So Kevin Gausman's 33 years old. Okay. Back in 2022,
would have been 31.
He received a 5-year, $110 million contract, 22 per year.
Okay.
I don't think you're signing King to anything less than that. So I'm looking at like 5 for 120, 5 for 130 minimum.
Okay. I agree with that. What about Cease?
Cease, if he puts up another season where he finishes top 5 in Cy Young.
Is he getting Snell money?
Close to Snell money, yeah.
And Snell just got
5 for 182.
Okay, so he might slot in that 170 range.
Yeah.
And King might slot in that 125 range.
130, yeah.
Yeah.
Because King had a better season than Cease. Yet somehow Cease was ahead of King in the Cy Young voting, which kind of didn't make any sense.
Right. I mean, maybe a little bit of a household name.
Throw a no-hitter, but still, King across the board had better numbers.
Right. Well, what we're saying is, no, I mean, these deals aren't scaring me off from their ability to keep some semblance of the rotation. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. They trade for Juan Soto. It's Higgy, Vasquez, Brito, and King. Higgy's gone. That's fine. We get it. We've talked about it. King's gonna be gone at the end of next year. Like,
dude, good point. The only way that Juan Soto trade doesn't just end up backfiring is you have to keep the guys that you traded for,
couple of them
that are helping you the most, which is Michael King.
I wouldn't call it backfiring if those players don't continue to pan out for you, because I thought 2024 worked out pretty well, thanks in good part to Michael King and Kyle Higashioka, and you got King in 2025. I mean, you're not going to have King for forever, but I'd like for King to be here for his first 4 years of his 30s. Like, you'd like to sign Michael King to a 3 or 4 year extension. The problem is he's going to want a 5-year extension. You'd love to sign Michael King to a 3-year extension. And that's like a dream scenario.
I'm totally fine if they don't go out and sign a starting pitcher in free agency this offseason if they like locked up King or Cease.
Right.
Because
that's big money.
There's a possibility that going into next offseason, both those dudes are free agents and you have to retool your entire rotation. Now, I don't think that's going to be the case because if we're talking about it, they're talking about it.
But then you'd have, like, heading into 2026, you'd have one of the oldest pitchers in baseball in Yu Darvish, if he hadn't retired by that point.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have Joe Musgrove coming off a significant injury.
Yep.
Tommy John. And Brito and Vasquez.
And Waldron.
And who?
Waldron.
Yeah. And again, whatever your system bears over the next 2 years. Roki Sasaki, that conversation is going on right now.
But like the minimum for a starting pitcher is $14 million minimum.
Yeah, basically.
Per year.
Right.
And usually that guy's not going to be
your
good
best pitcher. Yeah, exactly. We used to joke like 2 years ago, like, oh my gosh, it costs $10 million for a starter. And now we're like, oh my gosh, it costs $14 million for a starter.
Mm-hmm.
So the price is just like the price of eggs or tofu.
It's going up.
Keeps going up. Yeah, I mean, that's why I say if you're AJ Preller, write another like letter to Roki. You know, like open up that like Canva project or whatever, like create a better template, like keep adding to it. Make it look nicer, your presentation for Roki Sasaki, but you're going to need the best presentation.
He's like Stan in the Eminem song. Hey, Roki, it's AJ. Just wanted to write you one more time.
That's terrible because doesn't that song have kind of a
it
tough ending?
It gets dark, but I was just envisioning AJ Preller.
Now.
I was just envisioning AJ Preller in his like room.
We could be together too.
He's like, we could be together too, bro.
Oh, that's Groupner in the trunk.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh,
bro. This is all. There's a line. You may have crossed it. Look at Jim.
I was just trying to say it reminded me of like that moment where he's in the room and he's like, we could be together. I want to meet you, bro.
You're saying I can't do this for 4 hours.
Yes, you can. You have to. You want to walk out? Because if you're walking out, I'm walking out.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. All right. We didn't hear from Darrell Tripp. We will on the other side. We have Jon Heyman sound on Juan Soto. Jon Heyman has sounded off on the Juan Soto sweepstakes. So we will hear from Jon Heyman coming up. We have a lot of time. We also have 2 tickets to San Diego State Cal Baptist for next Wednesday night that we're going to give away. And then again, we have those Holiday Bowl tickets. We'll do that during Trainwreck Radio. A pair of tickets to the 45th annual DirecTV Holiday Bowl this year at Snapdragon Stadium on Friday, December 27th. More information at holidaybowl.com. But you're going to hear from Darrell Tripp on the other side. His thoughts on the
We're stealing your
Roki
content.
Sasaki sweepstakes. Thank you, Darnay. You're welcome to join the show. I ask you to come on all the time. Like, no, I'm off today. Even more of a reason to join the show.
But we're stealing his content is what we're doing.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah.
We'll rip off Darnay.
Yours comes on when you're not here.
I know, I didn't realize
he's very
that.
gracious to me.
He's gracious to me.
You on the other end. When we're both here, he's like, those guys don't need me. But when one of us
Right.
is gone, they're like, he's like, okay, I'll help you out. Yeah.
We'll hear from Darnay Tripp next. I was just making fun of Jim.
How about you do those 2-minute drills?
Here's the thing. Let me take people behind the curtain. You're doing the 2-minute drill because you're being paid to do them.
Am I?
Yes. Your job is to do them.
You always give me crap for them, and then you're like, actually, no, they're actually amazing.
They are very, honestly.
And they're like, what is this?
I feel
this
like
is stupid.
I feel bad when I say this. Like, my bar for going in was not the highest.
What did you expect me to do?
You're like a high jumper now. You're like hurtling leaps and bounds over the bar that I set for you.
Okay.
For some reason, I didn't know you. Like, okay, there's this Dan Patrick. I'm sure it airs
Above
on this
the
station.
Noise.
Does Above the Noise air on this station?
It used to.
It still does.
Okay.
During like the mornings and stuff.
Okay, so it
during
is
like
airing.
his show.
I'm taking.
And then,
It used to air during the afternoons.
Okay.
I don't know if it's
So
still
Above
does.
the Noise from Dan Patrick. He's been doing this for years and years and years. He's very good. I mean, it is Dan Patrick. He's very good. You are rivaling the Dan Patrick Above the Noise like heyday. I feel like you are very good at that.
I'm Mr.
You're kind of Mr. 2-minute feature guy.
Dan
you
Patrick 2.0.
Yeah, but you have to offer that. You're the guy that can like offer an opinion that's a little, not like hard, but it's a little edgy.
Okay.
It's a little rough. You're willing to give it. It sounds authentic because it's who you are. Like, I'm not the 2-minute feature thing's not my style.
No, yeah, it's
you know
more
what
my
I mean?
style.
I'm more the like buttoned up guy that allows you to then be like, you're like rip on Peter side, on AJ Preller.
There is one person on social media that nonstop tweets at us saying how he's like, can I like rip my ears off because I listen to 2-minute drill every day? Like, he hates the 2-minute drill.
Yeah, there is someone that hates the 2-minute drill. I think it's good. What do you guys think? I'm being serious right now. 70470 start it with team. Do you think Jim is doing a good job? I do. And I'm being dead serious. And I would tell you if I thought it was awful. 70470 start it with team or put it in the chat. I might actually put it at the top of the chat. Oh, people can't hear it on YouTube, can they?
What?
No.
You said
now, if Brent put it in audition, they could.
Yeah, we don't need
we're fine.
I think the YouTube viewers are fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we
I've been putting it in the podcast.
You have been putting it in the podcast.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I've been leaving it in there.
What do you guys think of
I'm
the
lazy
2-minute
and I
drill?
don't want to edit it out, but it's in there.
Okay, let's hear from Darrell Tripp. So, honestly, Darnay is a lot like me. He doesn't really go bold that often. He's more well thought out, like I am. It's true, right? I guess that's a backhanded shot at you, right?
What?
That's the whole point. Wait,
no, you.
that is. I'm saying that.
Like that time you thought you could drive from Northern California to here in
Well,
like
that
an
was
hour.
very dumb. That
That was a very well
out.
thought out.
That was from. My point is, Jim. Do you get what I'm saying?
No.
Darnay's a lot like me in style, right? To some extent, I'm more open than he is.
If we
but
were to rank like non-edgy to very edgy,
he's the most non-edgy.
he's closer to the non-edgy. Love you, Darnay, but you're closer
But that's
to
because
like
his job is also not to do sports talk radio.
right. Like, he offers great opinions, but he's not going to be like, AJ needs to be fired, or
That's you.
What is Mike still
So
doing?
you're in the edgy.
And that's just
and
who I
he's in
am.
the
I
non-
don't
and where
try
am
to
I?
be something
Where am
I'm
I?
not.
In the middle?
You're in the middle. You can get kind of edgy though.
I know.
Oh yeah, you can go.
I've said that. Well, the Ohtani thing may have backfired.
Well, that wasn't. That was pretty edgy.
that was actually edgy.
You-
but
you-
I didn't mean for it.
There's been times in
Where?
the past year where I'm like, whoa.
Where-
I sit back
you
and
just-
go,
what was it? What? But it's always about like Ken Palm.
no. There's been times
Yeah,
when like
I'll rip into
rip
like
somebody.
a pitcher. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
like the golden at bat rule. You were very edgy on that one.
Yeah, but it's like I'm talking to a golden at bat. You know what I mean? It's not about a
So
real.
it's fine. It's still edgy.
It's not really a human.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Is it human or not? Whatever opinion you have on anything, you could have an opinion on this mouse right here,
Right.
and it can become an edgy
Okay,
opinion.
yeah, that's probably true. All right, this is Darnay. Oh, he's listening. No, he's not. He might be. I don't know. This is Darnay. This for Darnay is very edgy, and we thought this was very hot take-ish on Roki Sasaki. Listen to this.
That's what makes the Sasaki situation different and unique and even more crucial because it is truly an us versus them thing. Like the Padres probably not going after Corbin Burns, probably not going after Max Fried either because of budgetary limitations that do not exist in Dodgerland. Roki Sasaki is coming here at the perfect time where you can get this guy for your international bonus pool, league minimum, arbitration years will eventually come, and hopefully sign him to a long-term deal. It's the perfect arrangement for a team that needs a cost-controlled, talented arm. Imagining him end up there to add to what they have is daunting and a scary thought, but just again makes it that much more crucial for AJ Preller to figure out any way to work this out. Like, they need this guy more than they've needed anyone ever in recent years. Like, who of the guys that they've brought in have you been like, they need? Like, Juan Soto's like, it would be awesome if they got Juan Soto, but there's a different level of like desperation and like have to have this guy with Roki Sasaki than I think we've seen with other free agents before.
Where's the edginess there?
Well, it's in what he said.
Oh, that they need him more than they've needed anybody ever.
That's very strong, opinionated take.
Maybe I'm listening to more tone.
No, the tone,
because his tone is
edgy.
always like really good. Mine's like at times just ridiculous.
Right, exactly.
And you're very distracted right now.
I'm so distracted. How about this guy? Okay. Can I just tell people why I'm distracted? E-break. The Aztecs are debuting new red basketball uniforms tomorrow night. Now, they've worn red before. I want to say the last season they wore red was when they went 30-2. Malachi Flynn hit that incredible shot against San Jose State wearing red. But they were, remember, they were trailing in that game against San Jose State at home. They haven't worn it a lot in the last decade. They have not worn it a lot. So they're wearing it tomorrow against the University of San Diego. Like, you got to see these on social media. Jim just tweeted them from at Sports 760, right?
Mm-hmm. There you go, Brent.
They look really,
cool.
really good. I need like
7 of them.
Yeah, I need like 400 of them.
All right, so give me your opinion on Darnay, or are you just are you in off La La Land right now?
I'm in La La Land. I disagree with Darnay, and I said it a ton last night on the wrap-up show. I mean, it's, he disagrees with some of our opinions too. I don't think they need Roki Sasaki more than they've needed anyone in the history of the franchise. I think they need Manny Machado as a free agent a lot more than they need Roki Sasaki now. And let me explain. I don't think Roki Sasaki is an elixir for 2025 and potentially 2026. He's a nice piece, a really nice piece potentially. But again, we're talking, me and you talk every single day. In the year 2025, we're going to talk every single day about that year's team. And I don't think Roki Sasaki is your Blake Snell or Corbin Burns of 2025. I think it might be your long-term Blake Snell or Corbin Burns. Yeah. I think it would be an amazing addition. I don't think it would be the best addition in the history of the franchise. That would be incredible if it turned out that way, but that's a leap of faith for me.
I agree. I think
and I love Roki.
2-ish years down the road, he could be that number one guy for you, but right away, no. But still, if you're telling me you get somewhere in between, and I'm using the like top of the class, if you get somewhere in between Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Paul Skeens, that's a big gap. I understand that, but still,
year one,
Yoshinobu Yamamoto is really good
in the postseason. By and large, he wasn't healthy really in the regular
when he was
season.
out
That's
there.
Not his fault.
When he was out there, he was good.
He was good. He was like a 3 ERA.
He had a 3 ERA.
Paul Skeens was generationally good.
Paul Skeens, but if you get somewhere in between that for 115
that's
innings,
incredible.
Yeah, that's great.
That's incredible. But there is no assurance of that from day one. Is my point. And I think
some people think that that could happen.
And I guess we'll hear from someone coming up, right?
Yeah, we will.
I think that in terms of he has the potential to be a frontline guy. There are other players out there right now that are frontline guys. Mm-hmm. That's just my point.
And you don't need him. And the great part about if he chose to play here is that you're not putting that pressure on him right away because of Cease and King and Darvish in the rotation.
Right.
He's behind those three guys from the jump. So you're not putting the pressure on him like, hey, we're bringing you in here to be the ace of this team.
I agree with that. Yeah.
We're bringing you in here to eventually become the ace of the team. But in the meantime, in year 1 and 2 is like, you're here to be the complementary piece to help us get over the top. Would you agree with that?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I do. I completely agree with that. And again, I think he has the potential to be a sizable landmark addition, but it's hard to say at day one, like a Manny Machado addition from day one, the potential of a move like that, or the potential of when you land Darvish in his prime or Blake Snell
Padres,
in his prime.
When they signed Manny was already a how many time All-Star? Made the World Series with the Dodgers.
He was on a Hall of Fame caliber pace.
Yeah.
And then some of these pitchers that they've traded for in recent memory were massive additions. The Blake Snell trade was a massive trade. You added a frontline pitcher immediately.
Manny Machado, until otherwise, will go down as the biggest free agent acquisition in the history of the franchise because of not only the money that it cost this team, but it jump-started and it kicked off the window of you sign this guy to win World Series. You didn't sign this guy to try to sell tickets. Maybe there's some of that in there. But when you signed him, you were signing him with the belief of we are going to now start competing to win World Series championships.
We're giving away Aztec basketball tickets for next Wednesday night on the other side to kick off hour 2 of Jon and Jim. Don't go anywhere.
This update's brought to you by Progressive Insurance. We'll start with the Aztecs basketball team. They take on USD tomorrow night at Viejas Arena. 7 p.m. tip time, 6 p.m. pregame right here on San Diego Sports 760. Aztecs football news. We have a couple breaking, not a couple, but we have a couple players.
What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say that we have some breaking news with the Aztec football team.
Correct.
That we will tell you momentarily. But other news to report with the Aztecs football team is Danny O'Neal had surgery on his non-throwing shoulder today. Moving over to the NFL this Sunday, you can listen to some games right here on San Diego Sports 760. Raiders and Bucks in the morning, followed by the Bills and the Rams, and then the Chargers and the Chiefs for Sunday night football. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at progressive.com. That's progressive.com.
It's Jon and Jim to warm up that drive home.
We are going to throw up the bat signal to Kevin Acee.
We need to talk to Kevin.
Yeah.
Is Kevin like?
When's his last tweet?
I need to look, man.
When's his last tweet?
Dude.
Kevin went on a little MIA.
Hold on.
Little hiatus.
Hold on. Kevin Acee.
Still has a Twitter, right?
That's what I was wondering.
Or is it a blue sky?
No, he's got a Twitter. His last tweet, what month is it?
December.
November 8th.
I think he's awesome.
Now, time for Jon and Jim.
All right, we do have some breaking Aztec football news. We are following San Diego State's Instagram pages, and they are announcing the return of a number of players. In this brand new era when the portal is always open, there are no contracts. Players can leave at any point in their careers. You can play at 4 spots in 4 years or 5 spots in 5 years with a red shirt. We have received word that Trey White, who finished second in the nation in sacks, and I think top 3 in tackles for loss, will return to the Mesa for 2025, which is a huge vote of confidence for Sean Lewis, in my opinion, and the program. Trey White will return. Others to send out these posts on Instagram, unfinished business. Chris Johnson, cornerback, with a great year. Dalshawn Staley, safety, who was in his first year in the program. Offensive lineman Ross Ulagulu Masiuli, we talked about yesterday. So there's 5-6 guys that were starters last year that are announcing right now at this hour they will return to San Diego State in 2025. These were huge question marks, Jim. I mean, Trey White, we've said this a lot, can play anywhere. I'm not just saying that. Trey White would have offers to play anywhere. And he has elected to stay. He's a San Diegan. He has elected to return to the Mesa in 2025. To me, it's a big shot in the arm. Turn your mic on.
Yeah, it really is, because the last thing you want after a 3-9 year is your best players saying peace out, bye. Like, you need to create still a culture here of winning that, didn't happen in year one, but the only way to do that is to retain your best players. They have a lot of work to do still.
Of course. No, of course.
But Trey White,
I mean,
Chris Johnson,
Dalshawn Staley, this offensive lineman, Ross Ulagulu Masiuli, and I'm trying to see if any others are coming in.
It's a huge boost going into next year that you have these guys that are going to be back, some of the best players on the team, to help you grow and build in that foundation, which is these guys that are going to return. So yeah, big boost for the team, but hopefully it translates into some more wins next year.
Well, there's something about, I just think about year one for Sean Lewis, and there's so much roster turnover. That's everywhere. There's so much roster turnover that's everywhere. But to get some continuity and stability, and to get a chance to run it back with guys that were contributors, even though you didn't win at the clip you wanted to win it. Obviously, they went 3-9. But to get starters back, I think where people go a little down the wrong path is they see guys enter the transfer portal. Some of the guys that enter transfer portals aren't guys that were playing, weren't pieces that you were relying on as of yet. So there's churn in college football. They leave Penn State, they leave San Diego State, they leave Georgia, they leave New Mexico, and so on and so forth. But if you can keep some of those bigger chips, so to speak, and it's easier said than done. Again, Georgia will lose players to the NFL draft or lose players to Alabama and so on and so forth. But if you're in San Diego State's position and you're able to retain someone of Trey White's caliber, I'm just looking right now, actually, and I believe, let me confirm it. I don't have it. Okay. So we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, Trey White, who's the biggest name out there, along with some really good football players. Chris Johnson, Dale-Shawn Staley, who were in that secondary last year, and again, an offensive lineman, Ross Ulugulu-Masiuli, have announced on social media they do plan to return to the Mesa in 2025. Hold on, and how about this? How about Trey White joins us in 22 minutes on the show? Does that sound good?
Right there. Boom. How you doing?
Does that sound good?
I like it. I like that.
All right.
You put that out there? Put that
out there.
Okay.
Can you take you're good with social media.
Well, I need to have a break and we have an air.
Can we get a social media director? So here's the deal. Here's the job. Apply online. It's going to pay $70K.
To what? It's going to pay you
new
nothing.
Job to work for Jon and Jim.
Oh, okay. Where are you getting that money?
I'll talk to Aaron.
Okay.
We need someone to help with social media.
You have a better chance of winning the lottery tonight than that happening.
Oh, look, I just won the lottery. I'm trying to keep an eye on social media here. All right. Well, Trey White will join us at 3:30, and you'll tweet about it coming up at the next break.
I will. Yes.
Anything else we want to say in regard to that?
I'm interested to I'm interested to hear Trey White's reasoning for returning, and then I'm interested to see the players returning next year, along with a group of players that Sean Lewis is bringing in to the transfer portal, that hopefully they can take a step, because if these guys come back and they still are like 4-8, 5-7 team, like you can on paper say like, yeah, they improved, but it's one of those things where you can't keep these guys forever to continue to improve. You have to kind of get things rolling here a little bit.
Well, one thing we know is, yes, 3-9 is 3-9, but if you had all Trey Whites, you'd be better off. As in, these are key pieces. But you're like, I'm wondering. Well, you said
that's amazing.
Well, I'm responding to what you said there, which is basically like, well, they can't go 4-8. There's just a lot going on. I forget what you just said. What did you just say?
I said bringing these guys back is big, but if it results in like a 4-8, 5-7 team next year,
right.
You're kind of like saying like, that's great. We have these guys back, but we still, it's not, I think, what fans want to see.
Well, obviously, I think the whole point is, and what I'm saying is, when you get a level of consistency with your roster of getting contributors back, I'm talking about real contributors, like the guys that were stars on your team. Yeah, you didn't have the win-loss record you'd like, but it's not Trey White's fault. I promise you that. You get someone like Trey White back, you're giving yourself a realistic shot to improve.
Yeah,
because if you don't have Trey White,
100%,
then it's like,
you're right.
You know what I mean? Like, at least you're giving yourself a realistic shot to build.
Absolutely.
That's my point.
And I think going into next year, like, in my opinion, it's very early because we haven't even gone through the transfer portal process and what the team is going to look like. Who's is Danny O'Neal going to be the quarterback of the team next year? Like, what's going on, right? 6-6 kind of to me is like, you got to get there.
Well, we haven't talked about the fact that Danny O'Neal did have, according to Paul Garrison of
shoulder surgery.
He did have non-throwing shoulder surgery. Now I'm like you.
Yeah.
Non-throwing arm shoulder surgery, which I think in the grand scheme, well, it's the offseason. Season just ended. He had surgery. It's December 6th. He's got plenty. The next season doesn't start for 9 months. There's plenty of time. This is not a throwing shoulder injury for Danny O'Neal. So you give it the time that's required, whatever that is. I have no idea the extent of the surgery, or believe it or not, Jim, I'm not a doctor.
What?
But so Danny O'Neal, again, coming off of surgery, but again, it's December 6th. You don't really need him for another 9 or 10 months or whatever the math is on that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a big storyline. And then I think it is significant.
It's big for Sean Lewis. It's big to retain guys that had good seasons like Trey White, because if you can't do that, that's a problem. Now, Jordan Napier entered the transfer portal. That's going to be a loss, but I feel like replacing a wide receiver is a much easier task than replacing an edge rusher with double-digit sacks.
We have another one. Starting linebacker captain Tano Latuli from San Diego. You have 2 captains back. You have Trey White from San Diego back. You have Tano Latuli from San Diego back. I mean, your defense, again, second half of the year, you can do the deep dive on it. They lost 6 consecutive games, right? I mean, it was hard, obviously, on all parts of the team the second half of the year, but you're getting your big-time contributors back. Trey White, Tano Latuli, Chris Johnson, Dale Sean Staley. That's all on the defense. All starters on the defense, plus offensive lineman Ross Ulagulu Masiuli is back as well. And Trey White's going to join us at 3:30. So those are some big returnees. I will say that. Again, you keep your eye on the portal and you see the movement. There's movement everywhere. When you get your big-time players back, that's a win, I would say, for Sean Lewis. We'll continue to react to that on the other side. We'll hear from Jon Heyman coming up on Juan Soto. Trey White back for another season on the Mesa. He will join us at 3:30. It's Jon and Jim. All right, hey guys, it is Jon and Jim for our friends over at Hamul Casino. This is a great month and time of year to get out to Hamul. If you have not been there this football season or holiday season, get there because every Monday in December, you've got a chance to win luxury handbags from top brands like Louis Vuitton and Versace. They have 10 winners every hour, 7, 8, 9 p.m. Onyx players receive an extra $100 cash bonus, plus one lucky winner each hour gets the opportunity to pick a purse packed with cash up to $25K, and you get to keep the purse too.
Yeah, and after you win a luxury handbag that's stuffed with $25,000, John, head over to Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, Loft 94, or their poker room tomorrow night, December 7th at 7 p.m. because UFC 310 will be on at Hamul Casino.
All right. Also, New Year's Eve is coming. Make your plans. Get to Hamul. They have the holographic New Year's party. Celebrate in style. They're going to kick off festivities with $20 free play beginning at noon on New Year's Eve. Make it an unforgettable New Year's celebration out at Hamul.
Also, new restaurant, John, Emerald Chinese Cuisine. It's back, but with a brand new look and a refreshed menu. Check out Emerald Chinese Cuisine right after you are at Tony's Gwynn Sports Pub watching UFC 310 this weekend. Hamul Casino, it's fun above all else.
All right, Trey White, Aztec captain, edge rusher, top 2 in the nation in sacks, top 3 in the nation in TFLs. He will join us coming up at 3:30. He'll be back on the Mesa for Sean Lewis in 2025. Kickoff with San Diego Sports 760. Anytime, anywhere, whether you're stepping out of the car or settling in at home, just ask your Google or Alexa smart speaker to play AM 760 or stream it live through the iHeartRadio app. It's never been easier to stay connected with your favorite shows like this one.
This one,
you know?
Yeah.
San Diego Sports 760 goes where you go. I feel like there's a lot going on. Not sure why. Have the Aztec football news, keeping our eye on the winter meetings, and baseball news. We'll have Trey White join us.
We're a couple hours away from the Mountain West Conference Championship game.
But that's like burying the lead. Brent, I think the game's at 5 Pacific, but at 4, I think there's big noon kickoff from the Blue.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're like pulling out all the stops.
It's a big game.
It's a massive game. In fact, did you see there was a tweet? Maybe you sent it to me. That the winner of this game will reach the expanded playoff before, like, since they went to a playoff, they'll reach the playoff before like USC, and there's like all these like Texas A&M. Well, as of now, like a Penn State hasn't yet been to a playoff. They'll be heading this year, but you know what I mean. Like, so the winner of this game is heading to the college football playoff before the University of Southern California.
Yep.
So that's how significant it is.
And I look at it like this: it's not, to me, the Mountain West Conference Championship game. It's who can have supremacy between the new Pac-12 and then the Mountain West Conference here.
That's a great point.
Because if
Jim,
UNLV wins, then the Mountain West Conference going forward has that to market. We made the college football playoff, and UNLV is still with the Mountain West Conference going forward. Boise State will become part of the Pac-12 conference going forward. So whatever school makes it, that conference gets to have the bragging rights and, more importantly, the marketing for it, for TV, and for the future of the conference.
I completely agree. I think a lot of people feel the exact same way, that it kind of just means more because as these leagues go separate ways, they're both trying to establish identities or win the PR campaigns.
Like, you can't tell me that Gloria Nevarez isn't,
oh my gosh,
rooting hard
UNLV
for UNLV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good point. And what is it? If Boise State is in the playoff with a bye, what a big win for the future of the Pac-12 television deal.
Yeah.
You've got one of the best teams in the country this year that's in the expanded playoff. So it'd be a huge win.
Huge.
So everything's on the line tonight in Boise for both Boise State and UNLV. Can we hear from Jon Heyman?
Sure. What do you want to hear from Jon Heyman about?
I want to hear from Jon Heyman about the Juan Soto sweepstakes that you touched on earlier, but I want to hear it directly from the silky.
Hey, Jon Heyman, you know, Juan Soto is thinking about going here.
Do we have that, Brett? All right, let's hear from Jon Heyman. We hear from Jon Heyman more than we hear from like
our wives,
John and Jim. Or our wives. Yeah. This is Jon Heyman, the latest on the Juan Soto sweepstakes.
Is Mendoza's Sun report accurate? All right, let's get into that. Look, I can't tell you whether that's actually Adrian Mendoza or not. Some internet sleuth claimed that he told somebody that they've offered $700 million for 15 years. I think it's in the ballpark for all those 4 teams. I think that is not a shocker. I think that's where we are now. I think he's going to set a record unless by chance. And at this point, the Dodgers are probably the long shot in this. If by chance he says, you know what, I'm not so interested in an extra 30, 40, 50, 60 million. It's not a big deal to me. I want to go to the best team. So they're still in it as far as I know. Obviously, he probably got a pecking order. He's got the strengths and weaknesses, the pros and cons laid out in front of him. And he certainly knows at this point, which are the top 2 or 3 teams. But this is an unusual situation because normally you don't have 5 teams fighting on really equal ground. At least 4 of them are on equal ground.
I'm almost shocked that we've gotten to this point where Soto finally hit free agency. And remember, he said no to the Nationals, the $500 million offer, maybe even more than that, going back like 3 years.
Yeah.
I'm almost shocked it's worked out this perfectly for him. He gets traded. He makes the World Series. He has a really good year. We thought he would, going to the American League, the smaller ballpark, playing with Aaron Judge and in that lineup. Everything's just worked out perfectly. Here he is. It's free agency. That $500 million deal is going to look like a joke in the end. when he gets $200 million more than that.
Well, you know why it's worked out perfectly for him?
Why? Because he's really good.
Because he's really freaking good.
I agree, but it doesn't always work out that well.
No, it doesn't. Like, he put together a top 3 MVP season and had like massive moments in the postseason for the Yankees.
He was great this past year. Yeah.
And he was far and away better than Aaron Judge this postseason.
Oh yeah, the postseason, absolutely.
You know, the iconic moment, that home run in was it Game 5 of the ALCS?
I think it was Game 5 of the LCS.
Game 5 of the ALCS. He had a massive home run in Game 1 of the World Series that the Yankees should have won. Was it Game 1 or 2?
Game 1 was the game they should have won. I think he hit the home run in it. Is that accurate? They led in Game 1.
He was either Game 1 or
blew
Game 2.
the lead. Game 2, I thought they didn't show up really for Game 2.
Because of how bad the loss was.
Yeah, it was awful, the Game 1 loss. Not as bad as the Game 5 loss.
But my point is, like, it's worked out perfectly for him because he's actually backed it up with.
He's backed it up.
If you flip-flop his seasons, like if he had this past season with the Padres in 2023 and then he had his 2023 year in 2024,
that'd be fascinating.
I don't think we're sitting at 700 million being talked about.
I completely agree with that. I'd be fascinated to know what the number would be in that situation.
Yep.
Or scenario.
And again, this is why I will say forever, I never believe and will believe the reports that he was going to sign with the Padres before hitting free agency. No freaking way. No way.
I'm with you on that.
No chance.
I'm with you on that. And Scott Boras can say whatever he wants to say publicly, and he has said the opposite of that. He said that if Peter Seidler was living, that Juan Soto wouldn't have been traded, right? That's basically what he said. If Peter Seidler was living, Juan Soto wouldn't have been traded. That does not mean Soto would have signed here long term, although according to Boras, they were working on.
No.
I mean, it's fascinating that he said that publicly, isn't it?
And it's a shame because you're saying
we'll
things.
Never hear from Peter.
Yeah, you're saying things about what someone told you that is no longer with us. And that is like kind of disgusting.
Yes, but well,
not disgusting.
He's not saying anything disparaging about Peter. If anything, he's saying he was willing to write the check that nobody's written in the history of the sport.
It's like, oh, he was going to do this. Well, can't respond because he's not with us anymore.
I know, but he's like saying that he was going to do something that no organization's ever done, which was dole out a $500-600 million contract.
And then Kevin will come on and say that the team and organization was adamant that they were always going to trade Juan Soto in the offseason, even if Peter were still with us today. Which I still a hard time believing that, but anyway.
Trey White, captain, San Diegan, edge rusher, one of the best defensive players in America, will be back in 2025. He just announced it on social media, including Instagram, and he will join us on Jon and Jim next. Don't go anywhere.
All right, this update is brought to you by Progressive. Breaking news, Trey White announced today on social media that he will be returning to the Aztecs next season. He'll be joining us coming up here next. More Aztec players announced that they will be returning. We'll give all those names out to you coming up here shortly. Other news with the Aztecs football team, Danny O'Neal had surgery on his non-throwing shoulder this afternoon. Aztec basketball tomorrow night as they take on USD at Viejas Arena, 7 p.m. tip-off, 6 p.m. pregame, right here on San Diego Sports 760. And NFL action this weekend that you can listen here on the station. Raiders and Bucks in the morning on Sunday. Bills and Rams in the afternoon, and Chargers and Chiefs for Sunday night football. All those games on San Diego Sports 760. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com.
All right, San Diego's own Trey White just announcing on social media he will return to the Mesa coming off a remarkable redshirt sophomore season as an edge rusher, top 5 in the nation in sacks and tackles for loss. Trey White with us right now. Jon and Jim, home of the Aztecs, San Diego Sports 760. Trey, Aztec fans are excited, not just yourself, but a number of your teammates announcing this afternoon they're returning for 2025. So first of all, thank you for joining us. And secondly, what went into your decision here today?
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. And I just felt like there was some unfinished business that we had to do. You know, my goal has always been to win a championship here, and I'm sticking to that. So I'm excited.
Was it difficult for you, or was it a fairly easy one? Like you said, you know, you have unfinished business here. You want to win a conference championship. Like how much thought went into this decision for you once the season ended?
You know, every decision that I make isn't taken lightly. You know, I had to talk to my parents, and you know, I just felt in my heart that it was right. I had to keep praying, and you know, at the end of the day, this just felt right. So I just went with my gut, and you know, kind of the familiarity with the program and the coaching staff. I see Coach Lewis's vision, so I'm really excited for what's coming.
Trey White is with us right now. Again, had a remarkable season. Obviously, he wants to win, like you just said, at a higher level than 3-9. Hence the line you just mentioned of unfinished business. What does it mean, Trey, to be returning with some of these other stalwarts on the defense? And we could talk about the offense too, with Ross Massioli announcing he's coming back. But Tano, a San Diegan, coming back. Chris Johnson, Dale Sean Staley. Like, what does it mean to you collectively that you're all collectively returning?
Yeah, it means a lot. They were all a big part of our defense. Me, Tano, and Chris are actually roommates. Oh. So we've definitely been talking for sure. And we definitely want to get a ring for this organization and this program, because we feel like it's been a long time coming just because of the standard here. So we're definitely excited, especially Ross coming back too. So I'm definitely excited for what's to come.
And going into next year, year 2 under Sean Lewis, you know, you talk about the vision, and you have bought into this vision from Sean Lewis. What is it about him in a tough year like this that gives you guys so much confidence that you can reach these goals?
Yeah, he's just a great leader for us, and he wants to win as much as we want to win, you know. And as soon as we can get guys on the same page and bought in on the team, that I know I could see where he's coming from. Everything he preaches, you know, you see it, like where you see it working, you see flashes, but we just have to be able to put it all together on all 3 phases of the game.
How prideful is it for you and the other San Diegans? You're out of Chula Vista, but for the players that are out of San Diego, black, and represent San Diego State.
Right. Obviously, we didn't have the season we wanted to this year, and that kind of hit me in the heart. So I couldn't leave this place without, you know, making something happen here. And you know, I take a lot of pride in me being from San Diego, and I grew up watching San Diego State. So, you know, I want to bring a championship here.
How much blame do you put on me and Jon for when you came on with us a couple months ago, and we were talking about 20 sack season, and it didn't happen for you, but you know, having 12.5 sacks this year was a great accomplishment for you this year.
Yeah, you know, I don't put any blame on you guys at all.
It's our fault.
No, yeah, I'm the one playing, so it's on me, but also game plans change week by week, and teams of offenses that we plan are different. Got a couple more double teams and things like that. But that's a part of the game. As long as it opens up other avenues for my teammates to make some plays, and I'm all good with it. Stats don't mean anything.
Trey White with us right now, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Trey, can you describe for our listeners the importance of the collectives in college athletics? I'm thinking specifically about the collective regarding San Diego State football, Aztec Link. I know, obviously, collectives and NIL are playing a large role in the college athletics space. How significant is Aztec Link for the future of San Diego State football?
I think it's one of the main pieces to the future of Aztec football, to be honest. Just the way the landscape is for college football, if you want to retain your players or, get some great players out the portal, then I feel like that's a really great thing to invest in for the future here if you want to see a lot of championships come here.
So I probably know this answer, but I'll ask it anyway. Off season now for you, what's next for Trey White? Is it just, continue working or what's on the agenda here for you now that you have made this big decision that you'll be returning to the Mesa next year?
Yeah, so I wanted to give my body probably like a week or two break since the season just ended. It's been a long season, so but after those 2 weeks, then I'm gonna get right back to work. I definitely want to elevate my game and just be better than I was this past season.
What part about your game that you really want to work on to improve this offseason going into next year?
I definitely want to work on my power. For sure. I feel like that was really underutilized in my game. And just my overall pass rush and run stop. I feel like I have so much to work on, and that's what excites me. I can be so much better than I was this year, and I know I can. But I'm just excited to show it off this coming year.
Again, Trey White with us. Again, a San Diegan returning to the Mesa for his redshirt junior year. You look at the landscape, Trey, of college football, and we see what's playing out, for example, tonight, the Mountain West title game between Boise State and UNLV, and likely the winner of that game is in the college football playoff. Has that kind of changed things for, a player like yourself in a Mountain West school where that, like you said, unfinished business, you're a championship away from maybe being in the shoes of Boise State or UNLV in 2025?
Yeah, seeing that one of those teams is going to go to the college football playoffs gives us hope now that it's possible, because with the old football playoff, there's only 4 teams, so it was like really almost like impossible to get there. But now we see that it's going to happen for sure this year. So, I'm excited for what we can do with this team coming this year, and hopefully we can be in that position this time around next year.
Any thoughts on tonight? By the way, you played both of these teams. You played in Boise. You played in Vegas against UNLV. Any thoughts on how tonight will play out in the Mountain West title game?
I think it's going to be a great game.
Yeah.
I just hope that both teams leave the game with no injuries, and I'm not going to say who I want to win.
All good. All good.
If they could both lose, you would choose that, but it can't happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Trey, congratulations. I know a lot of Aztec fans are excited. There's a lot of chatter I'm seeing already on social media, and it's just a big shot in the arm, obviously, for the program to have yourself and other key contributors from 2024 back for next year at Snapdragon Stadium and on the Mesa. So thank you for hopping on with us. Congratulations on a great year for you individually, and we'll catch up with you again in 2025, all right?
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right, great stuff. Great stuff. Great representative of the program, Trey White, who we said it at 6 weeks ago, so well spoken, and then you see his production on the field, and his production on field is basically, maybe it's not unmatched, maybe that's cliche, but he's top 5 in sacks and tackles for loss in the nation. To me, that's darn impressive. That's a really productive year.
Yeah, even though we jinxed it. And I ruined it for him. Ruined it. Yeah, because I asked him the question about.
Right. You're like, oh, do you want like 100 sacks? He's like, yeah.
Like, do you know what the record is for most sacks in a season by an Aztec player?
Are you going to get that?
Well, it's this number.
Hey, Dylan Cease, you haven't allowed a hit for 26 batters. Are you going to allow a hit now?
How many sacks did he get after that interview? Like 1?
No, I think 2.5. I think he had 10.
Oh, that's right.
And then he had
10 and a half, and he finished with 12 and a half.
10 or 10 and a half. He got 12 and a half. Is still third most in the history of the program in a single season. So that's doing real work. And the issue in the second half of the season, and they lost their last 6 games, is they took on really good mobile quarterbacks. The UNLV quarterback tonight, Haj Malik Williams, really mobile. Devin Dampier, he just went in the transfer portal from New Mexico, mobile quarterback. Air Force, they just run the ball. There weren't any sacks to be compiled against the Air Force Academy, but it's exciting. Trey White will be returning to San Diego State again in 2025, and not just Trey White. If you missed the news earlier, Tano Latuli is a San Diegan. He was also a captain in 2024. Linebacker that transferred in from Army last year. He'll be back for a second season. Chris Johnson, corner. Dalshon Staley in the secondary. Ross Ulagulu Masiuli.
I love what you say his name.
Yeah, it's
Say it
kind of
again.
hard. Ulagulu Masiuli or Masuli.
So how do you? So
I think Rich says it differently than I do, and I think I might be saying it wrong.
Ulagulu.
Masuli, maybe? Ross Ulagulu Masuli.
Ross Ulagulu Masui.
No, Masuli.
Masuli. Ulagulu Masuli. Ulagulu Masuli.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that was very good.
If you ask me to spell that, no chance in hell.
I know. All right, on the other side, I've been promising that we're going to give away Aztec basketball tickets because we have them for next Wednesday. Let's talk about where the Aztecs sit right now. Again, they've played some really good basketball. Last week in Las Vegas, earlier this week at Fresno State. Now a home date against Crosstown University of San Diego. San Diego State and USD for the first time at Viejas since December of 2018. So what does tomorrow mean for San Diego State? Plus tickets for next Wednesday at Viejas Arena will give away. This is Jon and Jim.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
go anywhere in the next 5 minutes. We're giving away San Diego's tickets to the House Arena against Cal Baptist. Chance to win 2 free tickets coming up before the top of the hour. So just a few minutes away. San Diego State tomorrow. Jim gets USD. Interesting matchup is Wayne McKinney transferred to San Diego State from USD. And this will be the first meeting between these two teams at Viejas since 2018. You know who won that game? The way I say it, you should know.
San Diego State.
USD. Kind of going away. They won by 12. They outscored the Aztecs by 18 in the second half. Brian Dutcher's second year. And they haven't met the last 5 years.
Maybe that's why.
Maybe. Yeah, they met it at Jenny Craig, I think the year after that. San Diego State won. And then things have changed in college basketball. There's now UC San Diego, so you don't have to play. You know, you could play a city school without playing USD. And now they're playing both this year.
Yeah.
UC San Diego and USD. You know me, I like metrics, right?
UC San Diego was
they're good.
It wasn't easy.
No, it wasn't. I mean, they had to overcome a 5-point deficit with like 8 minutes left.
Yeah.
You know me in the metrics, right? Is it too early for metrics? Is it too early for Ken Pom?
I say yes, but you are going to not listen to me and
I don't
continue to talk about net Ken Pom and net rankings. And
sometimes Ken Pom's full.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But they made a sizable jump here recently, right?
A catapult.
A catapult. Sorry.
You like that? San
catapult.
Diego State. How about this? They didn't play yesterday. This will drive Jim up a wall. Not necessarily. But they didn't play yesterday. They went up 7 spots in the net. They didn't play.
It must be
43
nice.
to 36.
Why is that, you think? Who
There's
lost?
A lot of theories. No, it's more
your...
about who won that's on your resume that you've beaten and where they are on the quadrants.
That's right, yeah.
UC San Diego actually got a big win, and they moved into quad 2. As a quad 2 win, they were quad 3.
Wow, that's why.
So it's like it's like kind of fascinating. Anyway, San Diego State's metrics are looking good. Their body of work these last few games has been awesome. The Houston game, the Fresno game, the Creighton game. So now it's like just don't skip a beat, right? Like don't slip up. We took USD, Cal Baptist, even at Cal, which I think is a little trickier, actually a lot trickier, coming up later in the month. But that's the key right now, right? Just keep doing what you're doing over the next couple of weeks until you return to conference play.
Keep improving. And so far this year, John, I hate to say it, haven't thought much about Reese Waters. This is not a slight on Reese Waters at all.
Because of the way the team is playing, you're saying.
Because I think it will be a definite boost when he comes back, hopefully fully healthy. But that is a good thing for this team that not after every game you're thinking like, man, they could have used Reese. They could have used Reese today. Now there's a couple instances like yeah, against Oregon and Gonzaga, absolutely. But I think after the Gonzaga game, I was mostly saying I wish Miles Bird was fully healthy. And Oregon, yeah, if you want to say they could have used Reese in that game, okay. But majority of the times this year, I haven't really thought that Reese's absence has really hurt this team. Because so far, I don't think it has.
Well, what it's provided is opportunities for someone like BJ Davis to be on display.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I think in the end, they're going to be you never want to see anyone get hurt.
Never.
But from a team perspective, they might be well suited to deal with the second half of the season battle, so to speak, because they've developed some of these players further that they wouldn't have had the opportunities if Reese Waters was healthy.
Because the best thing in sports is when a guy is injured, hopefully the guys that behind him step up. So you're not sitting there all the time saying, man, if this guy was back or if this guy was playing, you want the guys that are behind the person that got injured to step up and make sure that they, help the team win and they don't make it so that's a glaring weakness. And right now, I don't consider BJ Davis even close to a weakness. He's a positive for this team, if anything.
I mean, they got a lot of positives. I mean, they're playing in the rotation 5 underclassmen. 5. So Magoon, Farrow, Taj DeGorville are your freshmen. BJ Davis has starred. Miles Heidi's been dealing, I think, with a knee. He played just 5 minutes the other day. He had his knee wrapped. But that's 5 underclassmen in your rotation. And then you're pairing them with these veteran players like that transferred in, Wayne McKinney, Nick Boyd, Jared Coleman-Jones, right? It's a really interesting rotation, and they're getting a lot out of young players right now. That's a credit to the players and the coaching staff to get this much out of that young of a group. in the first month-ish of the season is been pretty impressive to watch.
And it makes the timing of when Reese comes back. Not only interesting, but it's like we just picked up a guy that can give you 15 points, and we're a really good basketball team already.
It's like the good problem theory in baseball. What are you going to do when Tatis comes back? They're playing well. What are you going to do when Joe Musgrove comes back?
You'll figure it out.
And it always does. It's amazing how that always happens.
Yep.
And like, you can't have too many players like Reese Waters, who spent 3 years in the Pac-12, won a lot of games at SC, won games for San Diego State last year. I mean, they don't win at Gonzaga without Reese Waters last year. Think about that. Gonzaga wins 95% of the time at home, and the Aztecs would not have won without the play of Reese Waters. I mean, he was unbelievable that day. He had a game against Cal. Where was it? San Juan Capistrano in that high school gym where he was amazing.
Really good.
They won it in overtime. So he really had some big time moments. And you don't want to rush him because, to your point, you're playing well. Get him fully healthy.
Yep.
Get him fully, and they will get him fully healthy.
And it's such a luxury to be playing well.
Yeah, you're not 2-5
when one of your best players is injured, because then you don't have to fully rush him back. Like, I would much rather Reese return in February fully healthy than January pushing it a little bit.
I don't know the timeline. I saw Reese in Las Vegas. He was at the time, this going back a week, in a boot. You got to heal a bone, and it differs. Like, you might heal 2 weeks quicker than I would, or vice versa. So, and then after the bone heals, you're in a boot. You don't just immediately step into game shape. There has to be a period of time.
Yeah, he's not going to, from the second he's cleared to play or clear to start, basketball activities, he's not going to all of a sudden be the same guy he was last year when he was playing really well.
No, but to Nick Boyd's credit, he got out of a boot and onto the floor pretty quick. Like, that happened right before the season. They only had a week or two.
True.
It was somehow.
True.
And he has, he's been a key piece, obviously.
Huge piece.
I mean,
every single one of the players that have had significant time this year for this Aztec team have all contributed in some sort of way.
Yeah, I mean, especially you look at the additions, like McKinney off the bench, 12 points against Fresno State. He's just offense off the bench. Nick Boyd, he's your lead horse guard.
Yeah.
Miles
Byrd has turned into a real big scoring threat for this team.
Oh my gosh.
Take away the Gonzaga game, which he was not healthy in. What's he averaging this year? Like around 12,
probably
13 points?
50, honestly, without Gonzaga, it might be more than that.
That's what I mean. Without the Gonzaga game, he's probably in the 16, 17 point range.
Right.
Which, to take that jump from last year to this year, is the jump that everybody was hoping to see from Miles, and he's absolutely taken that jump so far.
And I also think with Jared Coleman-Jones, I think it may take some time. I had a good fortune of talking to his dad at one point in Vegas, and it's like, it's new. So
huge game against Houston.
That's what I was gonna say. You're not beating Houston without Jared Coleman-Jones, who had 3 threes in that game, and then a huge 2 off the glass as well. So everything's worked out well. Let's hope that continues tomorrow for the Aztecs against USD at 7 p.m. Pre-game coverage begins outside Viejas Arena at 6 p.m. and San Diego State will be donning new red uniforms tomorrow night. And we have 2 free tickets right now, not for tomorrow night, but for Wednesday night against Cal Baptist at San Diego State. So if you want 2 free tickets for Wednesday night at Viejas Arena, we have them for you right now. All you have to do is be caller number 7. Call 877-767-4760. So all you have to be is caller number 7 right now if you want 2 free tickets to Wednesday's game at Viejas Arena, 877-767-4760. Call right now. All right, NFL, backstretch of the regular season. Great game last night. We'll get into it with Cynthia Freeland, de facto Lions fan, on the decision late there for the Lions.
I think she was at the game.
Was she at the game?
She was at the game.
She was at the game. So Cynthia Freeland will join us on the other side. We'll talk about Sunday Night Football as well, Chargers and Chiefs, and much more. Cynthia Freeland, our NFL insider. She'll join us next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Progressive. Breaking news on the Mesa. A number of Aztec players have announced today that they will be returning next season. The big name, though, Trey White, has announced that he will return to the Aztecs football team next year. Other news with the Aztecs football team, Danny O'Neal today had surgery on his non-throwing shoulder. Aztecs basketball tomorrow night takes on USD at Viejas Arena, 7 p.m. tip time. You can listen right here on San Diego Sports 760. And NFL action this weekend that you can listen to on the station. Raiders and Bucks in the morning on Sunday, followed by Bills and Rams in the afternoon, and Chiefs and Chargers in the nightcap for Sunday Night Football. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com.
It's Jon and Jim to warm up that drive home.
We are going to throw up the bat signal to Kevin Acey.
We need to talk to Kevin.
Yeah.
Is Kevin,
when's his last tweet?
I need to look, man.
When's his last tweet?
Dude.
Kevin went on a little MIA.
Hold on.
Little hiatus.
Hold on. Kevin AC.
Still has a Twitter, right?
That's what I was wondering.
Or is it a blue sky?
No, he's got a Twitter. His last tweet, what month is it? November 8th.
I think he's awesome.
Now, time for Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour 3 of Jon and Jim. We are here until 6 p.m. We have great giveaways. We have Holiday Bowl tickets to give away this hour. 2024 Holiday Bowl at Snapdragon Stadium. We have Aztec basketball tickets to give away between now and 6. And it's great to connect with Cynthia Freeland, our NFL insider. We are heading down the backstretch of the regular season. We had a great game last night. So I need to start with this, Cynthia. Were you there last night?
I was not there. I'm here in SoCal. So
Jim's like, yeah, she was there.
Until the playoffs.
Jim's like, she was there.
I
I'm
might
like, are
have,
you sure?
I might have seen a picture that was not of. Yeah,
it was like a green screen.
Might have
that
been
was from last year's playoffs. I just really love Rory. He's like my very favorite. I have a weird love affair with the mascot.
Oh, well, because here's the thing with Jim. Jim doesn't really read. He looks.
I just look at pictures.
He likes.
I'm like a child.
So he's like, oh yeah, there she is. It's Detroit.
I like picture books. So
yeah.
I just
great, perfect.
Yeah, I just assumed.
Okay,
my bad.
So you weren't there, but I still want to know when you're watching this game through both the analytical eyes that you do for your job, but also just watching as a fan. What are you thinking in real time of Dan Campbell's decision there to go for it?
I mean, listen, when you're playing with a 2019 Pro Bowl defense that you signed earlier in the day, it makes a lot more sense to at least try. And, obviously then you'd be kind of leaving it up to a coin flip in overtime potentially, but it's not like that defense was being a world beater. Everyone was out. So I don't know if I was going back and forth wavering, but I do appreciate, I remember, that Niners game last year where they had a different identity and they didn't go for it. And, you could look back and say maybe that was a turning point in that Niners NFC championship game where they wish they would have kept to their identity. And, I think it was a gutsy decision, that's for sure. But, obviously it paid off. And even if it wouldn't have paid off, yeah, you would have been relying on a coin flip, but still, give the defense a little bit of a rest, because that was a tough task for a defense with literally 2019 Pro Bowl team.
Yeah. And, the move to go for it, it worked, and it worked in a big way. And everyone, after the fact loves the move because it worked. But, if in a postseason game, Cynthia, say, I don't know, the Super Bowl, if those things didn't work, then he's going to get crushed on it. So is it a mindset thing here where it's that's who he is, or is he going to have to really think long and hard if this situation comes up again in the postseason where this team has a legitimate chance to win a Super Bowl? Maybe you should think twice about it, or you don't think that's going to happen?
I kind of hope that, look, a lot of things about the people sometimes forget, fourth down calls. A lot of times it's part of the reason why it was so low probability for such a long time is just people didn't really do it. So they didn't really have a whole playbook of plays that were meant for that situation. But that's not the case with the Lions. They spend a lot of time practicing fourth down situations, understanding what their strategies are. So part of it, in some ways, of course, you'll always have to make the decision in the moment. But part of that is like, do you have a lot of plays in the playbook that are, that offense was working, the defense was not working for the Lions. So if they thought they had the right play, which clearly they did, then I think, you gotta play your own odds, not just odds other people might think are your odds.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network, is with us. Did you expect this from Detroit to follow up what they did last year and be, I guess at this point, better because they're 12-1 overall?
No, I mean, it's very hard. I thought they'd get to the postseason. Did I think that in week 14 they'd have secured a spot and really be truly in contention for the number 1 seed? And there's, did I think that sports radio would be having the conversation, are the Lions the best team in football? No, I did not think that. I thought they'd be a playoff team. I didn't necessarily think it would look like this, though.
I'll fast forward.
Yeah.
Lions, Eagles, NFC title game. What concerns you the most from a Lions perspective? And then what would concern you the most from an Eagles perspective?
Well, first of all, if the Lions don't get any healthier on defense, that's going to be a really tough task against Saquon Barkley. I mean, you saw Josh Jacobs get into the end zone 3 times yesterday. So, that would be a very difficult task if your defense doesn't get a little healthier, especially at the linebacker level. That's a problem. I think the offense for the Lions is absolutely the strength of the team, and it was really nice to see the corners step up yesterday. The people who were remaining on the defense were good, but you need all 11. If I'm an Eagles fan, I think that you always have to wonder what goes on at their linebacker level as well, right? Like Reed Blankenship being out, and he's out yet again this week. Like things looked different last week, and obviously you're playing the Ravens, so things are going to always look a little different. But they haven't necessarily addressed the thing that was their Achilles heel last year as well either. It's gotten better, but I don't know if it's solved. Especially, I think the NFC is a little bit. There's like 4 good teams, 3 of them are in the NFC North, and then the rest is a little bit confusing. So, I think that the Eagles are a great team, but I don't know what happens in those single game sample sizes for either the Lions or the Eagles when it comes to the playoffs.
Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network, with us right now on Jon and Jim, our NFL insider. How much of an indicator, Cynthia, is point differential? I ask because Kansas City, we all know it, all the close wins, rabbits out of hats. They're 11th in the NFL in points differential. The team directly behind them is Tampa Bay, and they're 6-6. So concern or it's Kansas City and they do things their own way and they're still Kansas City come January?
Well, it always helps when you have 15. I think point differential can be a little bit misleading. It's something where, the problem is we all see the same thing. We just don't always have the right words for it. So it's easy to point to something like point differential and say like, see, like, they're not crushing teams. We're not used to them looking like this. See, because you need something to be able to describe what you're seeing on the field. But I'm looking at this team and again, great luck. I sure, like to have the number of possessions, to be able to have a 1-possession win, there is a little bit of luck and timing in that. But the only thing the main thing on the team that I'm concerned about is what's going on their O-line. Because when I'm watching Patrick Mahomes, not just tie a season or a career high, tie a career high in number of times being sacked, but then repeating that the next week and then asking for his guard to play left tackle. Like these are things where you're like, okay, well, that's where something like point differential or being able to really put a team away, that's where things become even more tricky because if you're not putting teams away, if you're not being able to finish on every single drive, and then you're coming down to high leverage situations and you don't have the right left tackle in, that's where things can come undone.
If Saquon ends up breaking Dickerson's all-time rushing record, and then Josh Allen, the MVP front runner right now, the Bills finished with the number 1 seed in the AFC, and they give it to Josh Allen. Like, what does someone have to do that's not a quarterback to win an MVP now in the NFL? Or do you see those days just not happening anymore because a quarterback has won 12 straight years in a row?
Well, the one thing I will say is if you look at timing and when in the year people are voting, because as much as we like to say it's like the entire year, it's actually kind of not true because people vote basically now for that. So when you're looking at that, if he has he keeps having these massive games. The problem that they face is their schedule right now. Like, I don't know if people are going to look at a win over Carolina. Like, let's say he has another 200 scrimmage yards game. They're like, but it's Carolina, like, and Josh Allen's beating the Rams. Like, it's the question is timing of when these things are happening. That does have a little bit of an impact on it, even though we like to, it is technically a season long thing, but we have to vote on it before the season's over. So, it's interesting. It's just hard because I think we all have this tendency, like this psychological bias to be like, well, we can give him offensive player of the year, but there's nothing that says that Josh Allen couldn't be the offensive player of the year and Saquon Barkley could be MVP, right? Like, it's just the way we're all kind of programmed to think about it.
How do you stack Saquon Barkley's season up among other great seasons from running backs in recent history? Like, how
Chris
good
McCaffrey last year?
How good is this in your opinion? What he's done so far?
I mean, I think it's incredibly impressive. I think part of it is, not just the sheer numbers, but the situations that it's been in, and that matters too. Because I think, like, a lot of times people will, you don't want garbage numbers. You want numbers that indicate wins. I think that win over the Ravens, if he does win it, it's last week's win over the Ravens, because that's the spot where, he went head to head with another guy two other guys who are strongly in consideration. Technically, I would say, Lamar's the only one that was really in consideration for MVP, maybe Derrick Henry for offensive player of the year, but you know what I'm saying? Like, ultimately, you went head to head against those guys and you prevailed. So I think it's as good of a season as we've seen at the position in such a long time. The question will be, have we devalued the impact of a running back in a specific season to the point where we kind of relegate it to offensive player of the year as opposed to full MVP?
So we talked about this yesterday, Cynthia. Bills, Chiefs, Lions, Eagles. You taking one of those teams to win the Super Bowl or the field?
I think I take one of those. If I'm as a Lions fan, I'd rather want to play, like, I'd rather it be Lions Chiefs in the Super Bowl,
right,
or Eagles Bills. I wouldn't want it to be Lions Bills, because, like, America has, we're sick of the Chiefs. Other than Chiefs fans, I think everyone's like, someone else, please.
Yeah.
Like, we're ready for another winner. But so it'd be good, because as on the side of a Lions fan, it'd be like the Lions fans and then, like, the Chiefs fans, but and all of America would be Lions fans.
100%. Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. I'm with you on those four. I think one of those four is certainly
what it feels like right now.
Do you feel okay? Take those four away? Who would be your fifth? As either conference to get to a Super Bowl? You can't have those four. Your first choice to get to a Super Bowl is?
You said you put the Ravens in there already?
No, we didn't. We only said Bills, Chiefs, Eagles, Lions. Ravens. Okay.
Yep. Then it'd be the Ravens. Yep.
What about the Steelers? Like, to maybe make a little bit of noise here. I know that 9-3 is 9-3, but it's like they can make some noise in the postseason, or do you not see that happening?
They certainly could. My Steelers, my concern about the Steelers, like, I think what is far more likely to happen, again, I have no, like, this is just what, based on watching for years and years and years, it's like the Steelers will, like, inexplicably knock out the Chiefs, but then lose to the Ravens.
Right,
like, I feel like that's what we're in for. Not, like, I just feel, because if you look at the Steelers' schedule, the likelihood that they end up with winning the division is harder, because their schedule is just harder than the Ravens' remaining schedule. So that's where I kind of get a little like, well, if I'm playing devil's advocate here, if I'm the Ravens who get to play at home versus the Steelers who have to, go on the road, like, that to me means potentially, just a little bit more like, go on the road, upset the Chiefs, get that massive, like, victory, and then lose to the Ravens. Like, I just feel like that's the way football happens.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, wait, what just happened there?
Right.
One of our colleagues, Rich Orenberger, thinks that the Chiefs are, like, awful. He's just like, they're for an 11-1 team. He thinks that they are awful. Now, he played in the NFL for a long time, so he knows a little something about it more than me and John do. But do you agree with that from, like, watching them and breaking them down? Do you think that they are a quote unquote bad 11-1 team? Or 12-1 team, whatever they are.
I don't know if any team that's 11-1 can be can be bad, but I understand his point from the perspective of, when we think of what it takes to be an 11-1 team, like, they don't seem to have the characteristics that would define a normal 11-1 team. However, this goes to show you, and part of going back to that MVP conversation, like the fact that, I understand Patrick Mahomes' stats aren't what we're used to from him, but when you have 15 on the field, there's just like, does anyone watch that game and be like, oh, there's no way they can win this? And no, the answer is no, right? Like you have Patrick Mahomes. You always, like, as viewers, you don't even need to be a Patrick Mahomes fan. You just know, like, 15's there. Okay, it's they're not out of it yet. Like, it's just impossible to count them out. And that does go to show you why that position of quarterback is valued so highly.
Right. Like when I think awful, maybe I would say like Jacksonville
or
like,
the Giants,
or the Raiders, like teams that are at, or the Dallas Cowboys, but the Chiefs are probably above that.
But even a team like, I don't know why this just came to my mind, but like, remember the Bears team that went to the Super Bowl way back when, Miami, a million years ago?
Grossman, yeah.
And like Rex Grossman was there, and the backup was like Kyle Orton. Like, it was, not to say they were awful, but like, that's a team where you're like, well, okay, like I guess they're going, like, I guess this is what we get, like, so I feel like that's more of like the feeling of not awful, but like, you just feel like things are different, and you always have a chance when Patrick's there. You just, it just, even if it has nothing to do with a fan or believing in it, but like, we've seen it happen. I mean, he's made magic for years now, so it's just, there's a difference, and that's why that position's valued so highly.
Cynthia, we're up against it. We need to let you go, but in 30 seconds, who wins Chiefs Chargers and why?
I don't know how, but the Chiefs win, but they don't cover the spread.
Yeah, exactly. They'll win by 2.
They'll win by 2.
Yeah.
They'll win by 3.
Exactly.
A last-minute field goal, like a bird comes down from heaven and like swoops in, and like something weird happens. That's how it feels.
Heavenly birds. Thank you, Cynthia. Enjoy the weekend. We'll do it again next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network, brought to you by Hamul Casino. 7 restaurants, thrilling games, and a sports pub. Voted San Diego's best. Hamul Casino is fun above all else. We're giving away Holiday Bowl tickets this hour. The wrap is ahead. It's Jon and Jim. The Padres have announced their 2025 coaching staff. We'll get to that in a moment. I do want to remind you, join San Diego Sports 760 ESAT and cable pipe and leak protection to support Rady Children's Hospital this holiday season. Hear stories of hope and healing from Rady Children's patients and families during the iHeart Rady Children's Marathon supported by ESAT. Your digital guardians make a donation to them at WTV. 1555 or donate at RadyFoundation.org/give. So the coaching staff has been set officially by the Padres. I think the good news is it's essentially been retained, which is something AJ Preller had spoken on a few weeks ago.
Mike
And
Schilt,
yeah.
obviously returning.
Oh, he's back?
Got his contract extension. He's back.
Wow.
He's back.
That's huge.
Ruben Niebla is back, John, officially.
What?
Victor Rodriguez is back officially. Brian Espedito is back.
Espedito, wow.
Is back
He's new.
officially. Ben Fritz is back. Your boy Tim Leeper is back.
Leap. He is my boy.
Everybody's back.
So there's really, but here's the thing. To me, continuity in something like that has value.
Yes.
Because they haven't had a lot of continuity. They found something that worked to their credit. And now they're not reinventing anything. This isn't AJ Preller going back to the drawing board and be like, I can squeeze a little bit more out of my offense. No. What worked last year worked. See if it works again in 2025.
Yeah, the three main pieces going forward for the foreseeable future: Mike Schilt, Ruben Niebla, Victor Rodriguez. Those three guys, I'm hoping are around for a long time, which means that the team has success, and those three guys aren't used as scapegoats at all.
How long has Niebla been here now? How many seasons has it
been? Since Melvin was hired.
Year?
Since
3 years.
3 years.
2022.
Yeah.
So this will be his fourth year in 2025. It'll be Schilt's second year. It'll be Victor Rodriguez's second year. Honestly, that alone, by Padres standards, is decent. You keep them together through 2026, 27, and you're like, wow, we had a manager for 4 years and we had a pitching coach for 6 years. Like, that's pretty good.
Even bigger, you have a hitting coach that lasts longer than a year,
which is such a rarity for them.
So they cycle through hitting coaches left and right.
They have. So they have found something that worked really well in 2024. I credit them for making sure that staff was retained, because you're in a business of baseball where other teams see successes. Other teams could have an interest in a Ruben Niebla or a Victor Rodriguez or coaches on that staff, but the Padres probably paid what was necessary to keep that group together. So that is important. Now, is it as important as having good players? No, it's not. Like, would you prefer to have a good manager or Manny Machado? You need to have good players to make good managers look good, but you prefer to have both, a good coaching staff and a good 26-man roster. That's what they had in 2024. It was a good staff. They worked well with the players. They had a good roster. AJ Preller did a good job. You had a lot of good. And now you're asking for that to happen again. Easier said than done.
And they also announced not only the coaching staff, but special assistants in baseball operations, and reading. Everybody returns. Everybody from last year is back. I don't even think there's a new face as far as the coaching staff goes.
No one is gone, and no one is.
Not that I can remember.
I think, I don't know.
I think everybody from last year's staff and baseball operations are returning. In the press release I just got from the Padres.
Yeah, I'm looking at that.
I'm looking at it. It's all of them. It's like returns for his third season,
return.
returns. Yeah, everybody is returning, which is, I think, a really good thing for the Padres.
Yeah, it's a credit to them, honestly, for making that happen. I'm reading the same thing. Enters. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you actually have guys that have been in this front office. Like, I'm looking at some of these guys. There's some people that have been here for a while, including AJ Preller.
Yeah, you think?
You have some people that have been here. But yes, everyone's returning for the Padres in 2025. Right. That's the wrap on the other side. Your Holiday Bowl tickets giving away this hour for Snapdragon Stadium, 2024 Holiday Bowl KGB Sky Show. Conversation with Trey White, star edge rusher, defensive lineman. He's back. He made that today. Stay with us, Jon Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Progressive. We'll start with the Aztecs football team. Big news today. Multiple players will be returning for the 2025 football season. The biggest name of them all, Trey White. Other news with the Aztecs, Danny O'Neal had shoulder surgery today on his non-throwing shoulder. Aztec basketball tomorrow night at Viejas Arena against USD, 7 p.m. tip time. You can listen right here on San Diego Sports 760. And this Sunday, right here on 760, NFL football all day long. Raiders and Bucks in the morning, followed by Bills and Rams, and the nightcap Chargers and Chiefs. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at progressive.com. That's progressive.com.
AM radio keeps vital voices accessible. Congress can secure its future. We need your help. Text AM to 52886 now. AM radio and cars still remember Congress legislation now to keep AM radio and cars. Save your message and data rates apply. Like you say, it's basically not just keep AM radio and cars, keep Jon and Jim support. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you guys. You can listen to us in Boise.
Or you can listen to us in like Korea or something.
Oh, we're gonna go to Korea and do a show? That'll be great.
Well,
we don't know Korean.
From our YouTube channel. Because you can listen to us all around the world.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So you're saying we could still stay. True. But we just right. Okay. All right. This hour, this is a great giveaway. An amazing holiday gift. Holiday Bowl tickets. We're giving away Holiday Bowl tickets. Do not call right now. But we'll do it with trivia. Trainwreck Radio later this hour. A pair of tickets to the 2024 Holiday Bowl KGB Sky Show, Snapdragon Stadium for a first time. We'll do that later this hour. Again, Jim just mentioned in the update, Trey White and others, Tano Latuli, captain linebacker, and others returning to San Diego State football, and Sean Lewis on the Mesa in 2025. If you missed our conversation with Trey White, we'll have that for you in the 5 o'clock hour. But right now, let's get to this.
It's time for The Wrap, presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Which conference championship game are you most looking forward to?
Honestly, I'm kind of really looking forward to this one.
Mountain West.
The Mountain West Conference title game between UNLV and Boise. Other than that,
what do we have? Georgia, Texas. We have
Penn
State, Oregon.
I don't really have like much enthusiasm about Clemson SMU.
Although it is kind of like maybe a playing game there too.
Yes, but I like to I've watched Boise multiple times this year, exactly. And UNLV, and they both played San Diego State, so it's like I have a little bit of a tie to that. Yeah, I'm going with the Mountain West Conference Championship game in about half hour from now.
This is easy for me. I am genuinely excited for this game. No, I just am. I mean, first of all, this is actual, real like football. 25-degree weather.
Are
and you're
huge.
In Boise. You can see their breath. It's 28 degrees right now in Boise. They have a sellout for the first time ever in the Mountain West title game because right now there's that expanded playoff. You have two legitimately good teams, power or otherwise, power or group of five. I think it's going to be a really, really good game. I'm excited to watch the entire thing. It kicks off in about 30 or 40 minutes.
And you know it's big time when they are pulling out all the bells and whistles. They got the Fox crew there.
Jason Benetti, our buddy, is on the call.
Yeah,
our buddy, my buddy.
It's big time. Your buddy who's at your wedding.
Yeah, man, look at me. I'm with you.
Thanks for
I was at your
me.
wedding. So, like, it's like we were all at each other's weddings, kind of.
Yeah, but you didn't invite
I didn't
me.
know. That's because I didn't know you.
So,
next question.
Who's going to win that Mountain West title game?
I'll go with Boise State to win it. I am rooting for Boise tonight just because of what we talked about earlier in the show. Like
Team Pac-12.
Yeah, Team Pac-12 all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, UNLV, you're not the Pac-12.
It could have been.
Could have been
basically out there for them.
And they said, nope.
So you think they'll win?
I hope it's a good game.
I think this
I don't really
will
care,
be,
but whatever.
I do care. This will be dicey. I think Boise State will have to play some of its best football to win. And I wouldn't be surprised if Boise had to overcome a deficit to win this game. Like, I think UNLV coming in knowing that, I mean, they're trying. This is crazy. The COVID season, they were winless. 2021, they were 2-10. 2022, they were under 500. Then they made a switch at head coach Barry Odom, and he's done an amazing job the last 2 years. So they were winless in the COVID season of of 2020. I think it's going to be a great game. They have an incredible player on UNLV that doesn't get near the talk of Ashton Genty, Ricky White. Their playmaker, good on special teams. Then their quarterback, Haj Malik Williams, is really good. I think it'll be a great game. I say Boise wins it on a late Genty score. Next question.
How many rushing yards will Ashton Genty finish with this season?
So he's three.
It's like a whole Boise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
So Barry Sanders at 26-28, that doesn't count the bowl game that he had.
Correct.
Which a lot of people don't like.
Barry Sanders tweeted about this today.
Yeah.
Saying, don't gripe about that. I'm rooting for him.
He's 340 yards away from breaking that mark of 26-28. Melvin Gordon, if you add in his bowl game, was at 25-87.
With the bowl game or without?
They counted his bowl
They
game.
counted his bowl game. Yeah. They counted Kevin Smith.
It's the other Badger.
Right.
Yeah.
bowl
They
game
didn't
got
count Marcus Allen. And then Barry Sanders. So the top five are Barry Sanders, Melvin Gordon, Kevin Smith, Marcus Allen, Ashton Genty.
That's amazing.
Who Ashton Genty just passed Rashad Penny last week.
Amazing.
I think he gets it. Because listen,
You think he gets what?
I think he gets past Barry.
With 2 games?
I think they could win their first round matchup in the college football playoff, and then he has 3 games to get it.
Okay, yeah. With 3, I agree with you. I think he does it with 2.
I think he does it with 2 too, but I'm saying I kind of feel like Boise's going to win their first matchup in the college football playoff.
Maybe.
And I'm banking on it because if they do win that, then you have 3 games to get that many yards, 340 yards. He'll get it.
Okay.
And he might get in 2 as well.
So you didn't answer the question. How many rushing yards will Ashton Genty finish?
More than I think. Oh, no, not tonight.
Oh, this season?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was tonight. Well, I think he will.
I think he passes Barry.
I'll say he passes Barry Sanders too. And I think he's going to have to do it in 2 games. It's not going to be easy as a 4 seed taking on like an Oregon or a Penn State or
it won't be
Notre
tonight.
Dame.
I think
there's no way he rushes for 341 yards tonight.
One of his lowest games rushing this year was against UNLV.
No, his lowest, right? 133, I think, is his lowest. And that was UNLV in Vegas. Is that right? He's rushed for 125 yards in every game. Only player ever to do that.
So he rushed for 128 yards that game.
Oh, I thought it was 133.
That was his second lowest of the year.
What's his lowest?
127 against Sacramento. That's Portland State.
He only played half in that game.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's rushed
11 rushes for 127 yards against Portland State.
He's the only player in the history of FBS football to go for 125 or more in every game.
Now, I will say that game by far was his lowest
production,
yards per carry.
3.9, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know if they can do that again. I don't think UNLV will do that again today. I just don't. I watched that entire game. I'd be shocked if he was held to below 4 yards per carry tonight. If he is, they're not winning. Boise will not win if he's below 4 yards per carry. Next question.
Will Juan Soto sign with the team by the end of the weekend?
Well, Jeff Passan says it's going to happen, and he's sitting there just currently crossing off teams on his list.
He's crossed 25 off so far. 5 are left.
5 are left. I think he does. I think you get a passing bomb here in the next 72 hours.
I think he does. I think he signs by
48 hours. Sorry.
No, even. I mean,
50 hours.
It could be if he signed. Yeah, by late Sunday night. So yeah, over the next 50 hours or whatever it is, I think he'll sign by late Sunday night. And where will he go? I say he goes back to the New York Yankees, and I think he does it in the 600s.
I think he goes
New York Yankees in the 600s.
I think he goes to the Mets because I think Steve Cohen is a psychopath and he's not going to be outbid, and he's going to make it an impossible offer to turn down for Juan Soto.
An impossible offer to turn down. If you're Soto and you could play it for the Mets, complete secondary franchise. Everyone understands it. There's all other comps you can make in sports. It's not A's Giants. But, I mean, there's a big gap. The New York Yankees and the New York Mets, right? Mets have a ton of fans, but are nowhere near the Yankees. So if you could be Yankees for 660, and you could be Mets for 7, where are you going?
I mean, I would choose the Yankees, but here's the thing. If you're Juan Soto, you will always be second fiddle to Aaron Judge in New York.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
On the Yankees, by the way.
Yeah, but if you're on the Mets, you'll always be second fiddle to the Yankees.
Correct.
Plus, you'll never be that good.
No,
The Mets.
But that becomes your team. I know they got Francisco Lindor there, but Juan Soto will be the guy in New York for the Mets.
Yeah, in Queens.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
You just don't get the same coverage. There's not the same glamour.
I think it will be.
It's not the same expectation.
No, you're right.
The Yankees have to win every World Series.
And he's going from a bandbox to a decently sized ballpark.
Yes.
But he does rake there, though, by the way.
Has he in his career? Yeah, because he did with the Nationals.
Yeah, he does rake there at Citi Field.
Right.
I just think that if those are the numbers, if the Mets are offering 700 and the Yankees are offering 660, how do you turn down the Mets?
Yeah,
$40 million more. And it's not like it's one team in New York and one team in wherever.
Well, how small of a gap would it have to be for him to go to another team? My point is like if it was 700 and 690, are you going to go to the Mets for $10 million over 15 years? I don't think he would actually in that hypothetical, although he's held out for the money this long. I don't know. I can't wait to hear what the offers
This
were.
is stupid money.
Oh, it's dumb.
It's really dumb. I love Juan Soto. And if for any fan base and any team out there, the Dodgers, that are saying, well, we don't want Juan Soto, you're out of your freaking mind. The guy is a top 5 player in the sport. You see what he did this last year? Oh, but he hit in the bandbox. You see what he did in the postseason?
He's playing for the New York Yankees.
Stop
so
it.
much pressure.
Stop.
Yeah.
Guy's a generational talent. He's in his prime. Is
I
he
agree.
worth that much money? No. But for any fan base out there that says they don't want Juan Soto simply because they just don't want the player, you're a moron. Now, if you say, look, I don't think it's wise for my team to give that type of contract to Juan Soto. I'd love Juan Soto, but for that money, it's kind of pushing it. Like I'm seeing Alana Rizzo, giant Dodger lover, posting how Teoscar Hernandez is better than Juan Soto. Shut up.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a moron. You don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know baseball.
Can Alana Rizzo just go away, please? I'm serious. Like,
I mean, where do you want her to go?
Just away. Just
Okay,
stop.
Like stop being on the internet and on television.
Yeah.
All right, call right now. Who wants to go to the 2024 Holiday Bowl Friday, December 27th, Snapdragon Stadium, also the 1015 KGB Sky Show returning. Fireworks show, holidaybowl.com for tickets and info. First 2 callers will be contestants. That's an amazing giveaway, valued at hundreds of dollars. 877-767-4760. Call right now if you want 2 free tickets to the Holiday Bowl of Friday night, December 27th. First 2 callers will be our contestants for trivia. We call it Trainwreck Radio. 877-767-4760. Call right now. That's next. All right, if you missed our conversation with Trey White, who's returning for a redshirt junior season on the Mesa, he was top 5 in the nation in sacks and tackles for loss. He's coming up at 5:30. We also have Aztec basketball tickets to give away. We'll do that in the 5 o'clock hour. We're going to play for Holiday Bowl tickets in a moment. We do want to remind you, you can hit us up on the talkback mic. Just open the free iHeartRadio app, listen to San Diego Sports 760, tap that little microphone icon next to the play button to leave a 30-second talkback. How you doing, Jim? You ready to?
I'm good. How are you?
Are you good?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm good.
Cool. You're good. All right, let's play.
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's 2 contestants. We have Bryson and we have Tommy. Bryson, you called in first, so you have your choice of Jon or Jim. Who do you want to go with?
I'll go with Jim.
All right, Bryson,
Bryson and Jim.
And then Tommy, are you there?
I'm here.
Tommy,
right.
can you hear us?
Tommy John.
Tommy, John.
Oh.
There you go. Tommy and John together.
I don't know if that's a good sign or what. But
yeah, you're screwed. Brent, what's the question of the day?
All right, guys, today's question. The NBA Cup quarterfinals start next week. You know, how with the college football, playoff. Yeah, the NBA Cup. Mm-hmm. That starts next week. Today's question. Name any of the 8 teams that are still in the NBA Cup. There's 8 teams that are in the NBA Cup. Just name one of them.
Okay.
Great.
Tommy, you're up first. What's your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
I'll use the lifeline.
Oh, John is.
This is me?
Yeah, it's you.
Oh,
buddy.
I know. We talked about this on the other day. I know a few of the teams, and I know the favorite, I think. How about the New York Knicks?
New York Knicks. Do you take that, Tommy?
Yep.
All right.
They're favorite. Look at their path.
Okay. Bryson, you're up next. What's your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Milwaukee Bucks.
Milwaukee Bucks on the list. There we go. Tommy, back to you. No lifeline, so it's all up to you. What's your second guess?
Los Angeles Lakers.
The Los Angeles Lakers. No. They suck.
They've been getting
actually.
beat.
They're not a good basketball team. Yeah, they suck. Bryson, what is your second guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Jim, I'll go to you.
Wow.
I already know what you're going to say, but I'm going to allow you to say what I know what you're going to say.
Do you mean the Atlanta Hawks? Do you take the Atlanta Hawks? That's not what you
or
know.
The Golden State Valkyries?
No.
Take it. Trust me, Bryson. Trust me.
Don't trust them.
Trust me.
I'll take the Warriors.
Okay.
Good.
Tommy.
Good.
Final guess. You need this to stay in the game. What do you got?
Say?
The Phoenix Suns.
Oh my gosh, Jim gave you an answer.
I gave you an answer. I didn't say Warriors.
But right.
Because Bryson wanted me to say Warriors.
Oh yeah, I guess you would have to know that you're a Warrior fan. How would anyone know that?
How would anybody know that? There's a layup answer.
Oh my gosh.
But then John said Golden State Valkyries.
Yeah, I did say Golden State Valkyries. Like joking, that's what you were gonna say.
Oh.
You missed that. All right, who is on the list of NBA Cup?
All right, here's our matchups for next week.
I'm excited.
We got Bucks Magic, we got Knicks Hawks, we have Thunder Mavericks, and then we got Rockets and Jim's Warriors.
We're gonna broadcast live. Where was the Magic game?
Magic Kingdom?
It should. It says it's Orlando, even though the Bucks are the number 1 seed. So
you want to go?
Right, we're gonna broadcast live from Disney World, leading up to
it. We do
3 days of coverage.
24-hour coverage.
Yeah, looking forward to that. All right, congratulations to whoever won.
Bryson,
you have won.
Our buddy Bryson.
A pair of tickets to the 1015 KGB Sky Show, returning following the 45th annual DirecTV Holiday Bowl, Friday, December 27th. Your ticket to the Holiday Bowl is also your ticket to the KGB Sky Show and Fireworks Show. HolidayBowl.com for tickets and information. Get ready for fireworks on and off the field. It's known for being one of the highest scoring games in bowl game history. It'll be at Snapdragon Stadium here this winter. We've got a pair of tickets to give away to see the Aztecs next Wednesday at Viejas Arena. Plus, can the Padres keep up this offseason? The latest, plus our conversation with Trey White at 5:30. It's Jon and Jim.
Thanks. All right, this update is brought to you by Progressive. Big news on the Mesa today. Trey White, along with other players, announcing that they're returning for the 2025 Aztec football season. Danny O'Neal having shoulder surgery today on his non-throwing shoulder. Aztec basketball tomorrow night at Viejas Arena, 7 p.m. tip time. You can listen right here on San Diego Sports 760. And NFL this Sunday that you can listen to here on the station. Raiders and Bucks in the morning. And then Bills, Rams in the afternoon, and Chargers and Chiefs for the nightcap for Sunday Night Football. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com.
It's Jon and Jim to warm up that drive home.
We are going to throw up the bat signal to Kevin Acee.
We need to talk to Kevin.
Yeah.
Is Kevin, like...
When's his last tweet?
I need to look, man.
When's his last tweet?
Dude.
Kevin went on a little MIA.
Hold on.
Little hiatus.
Hold on. Kevin Acee.
Still has a Twitter, right?
That's what I was wondering.
Or is it a blue sky?
No, he's got a Twitter. His last tweet, what month is it?
December.
November 8th.
I think he's awesome.
Now, time for Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California is going on. Final hour, Jon and Jim, winter meetings. We'll kick off in about 48 hours. The Mountain West title game between Boise State and UNLV is going to get underway in just a few minutes. In addition, if you missed our conversation with Trey White, the Aztec star edge rusher, he was top 5 in the nation in sacks and TFLs. We'll play that back for you at 5:30. He will be back, by the way.
I just want to say that I'm really impressed, Jim. You have said shoulder surgery like 7 times today, and you've nailed at least 6 of them.
I
did really good. That's
thanks.
like your 2 like bad words. So good job.
It's
amazing.
Hard, especially when I said his shoulder, left shoulder surgery.
Can you say Schaefer?
Schaefer.
Oh, not that well.
What?
I've never heard you say Schaefer ever.
Schaefer.
Okay.
What do I say?
I say Jim Russell all the time. There's something about the way you say Schaefer that's
John Schaefer.
That's better.
How did I say it differently than the other times?
I don't know.
Schaefer.
I want to get back to the winter meetings in a second.
Shoulder surgery.
Let me be clear here. I didn't want to join an additional social media platform. I have no desire to be on Blue Sky. I don't want to be on it. I wish it didn't exist. Darrell Tripp from NBC7 basically forced me to be on it.
Correct.
And I knew in the moment I signed up for it, I knew nothing about it. I didn't know its history, its background, its relevancy, the way it works. It's like this Twitter alternative.
And I said
no. You're not going to care. It's stupid. Nope. I'm holding out, and you have held out, and you've proven to be right. Nobody's on this thing. I mean, nobody's on this thing. It's a waste of time.
A month ago, they were at 20 million overall subscribers
in the world. And I heard a lot of those people were in Brazil because Brazil had Twitter banned for a period of time. So a lot of Brazilians had to use another platform.
Compared to Twitter, which is like 500 million.
Well, that seems a little high. They don't publicly disclose it, but it's probably a couple 100 million in the world.
So a month's passed, Blue Sky has to have doubled their count, right?
I just looked at Blue Sky counter. It's got 24 million people in the world. That's low. 24 million. Come on.
Yeah, everybody making.
Although I wish we had 24 million like subs.
Say hi to Threads for me.
Yeah, Threads has more than that.
Threads is awful, but it just was so funny seeing people announcing, "I'm leaving Twitter."
Yeah. I would never do that. I'm not going anywhere.
That's like the cringiest thing ever. You can be like, "Hey, I'm over here" or whatever, but there were actually people on that site that were making a big deal. I am done with this platform. I am moving to another platform that's just like this platform, and other people will be on that platform too that are racist and hateful and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, right. I mean, let's stay out of the political.
Well, I'm just saying, people were like, "I'm not on here anymore because of this and this and this and this." It's like, what's stopping Blue Sky from that happening?
Right. It's like anyone can go on any of these platforms. Yeah.
It's the way of the world.
Here's the thing with social media. Can I make a social media point?
Go for it.
It's social media. It's like, there's some good, there's some bad. It's like the real world. You got some good, you got some bad. If I didn't do what I did for a living, which is talk sports and try to connect with San Diegans on a day in and day out basis, I wouldn't use it hardly at all. I didn't have Facebook until I was in my mid 30s. I just haven't had a great, I use it. You see how I use it. I use it talking sports.
Yeah. And I'm glad that I have thick skin because a lot of people don't have thick skin.
I know. Yeah.
You know,
You're like a kid.
Like, I don't have that many followers on Twitter compared to like a lot of people.
No, you don't, Jim.
No, I'm just saying like the big boys of like 250,000 followers, or it's people that have almost 1 million followers, right?
Sure.
Like, so their mentions every day are through the roof. Mine aren't.
Right.
But it's one of those things where I'm glad I can filter stuff out and I just don't care. Like I just, I create my For You page because that's who I follow. And I rarely try to go on the, not For You, the following. I have my own, I create my following page, and then the For You BS that,
is like, you're going to want to like,
never go on it.
Don't click on that.
Don't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's easy to do, but some people don't. They don't have the willpower or a thick skin to be on it. And I don't blame them, but at the same time, it's like any other social media platform out there that tries to become this, it's just, they're going to fail.
Okay. That's my response to that. All right. So this Mountain West title game is about to get underway. We'll keep an eye on it. We're watching it in studio. Boise State, UNLV, the winner is heading to the expanded college football playoff. One of these two schools will be in the playoff for the first time in school history. We're also, of course, keeping our eye on the winter meetings, which will begin in just about 48 or 72 hours. There's a lot of news recently because Jeff Passan reported within the last day or so that Juan Soto is expected to sign maybe before the winter meetings. Then we saw today, we touched on this briefly earlier, Corbin Burns tied to the San Francisco Giants by someone that covers the Giants, Susan Slusser. We know Blake Snell has already signed with the Dodgers. And it's one thing, I've been arguing you don't keep up with the Joneses when it comes to the Dodgers because they're going to outspend you and they're going to outspend basically the other 29 teams. But it gets a little more difficult when you're in a division where the other teams are spending and winning too. Giants haven't necessarily won, but they have a desire to spend. Arizona did win in 2023 and has increased their payroll. I wonder where the Padres will slot in payroll in the NL West in 2025, ahead of Colorado, behind LA. What about Arizona and San Francisco? I haven't done that deep dive. Could they be fourth?
I haven't done the deep dive either, so I don't really know where the payrolls land. But Corbin Burns joining the NL West and he's not in a Padres uniform. That's a problem. But also last year, Blake Snell went to the Giants and the Giants were awful. So the same thing could happen here. Corbin Burns, he could sign a deal with the Giants and the Giants could still be like an 80-win team at best. You're just hoping that the Giants don't make moves and then it turns out, oh crap, they're a 90-win team. Corbin Burns going to the Giants, if that were to happen, that would suck from a Padres perspective. You also have to look last year this time, Blake Snell. Look, I think Corbin Burns is going to good for them overall. Right? But I would much rather have Corbin Burns over Blake Snell. But if you have now Blake Snell staying in the division and Corbin Burns potentially joining the division, both those players aren't on your team. By the way, I just looked 2024 payroll at contract, right? 2024 payroll in payroll. Obviously, the Dodgers and the Padres. The Giants were 10th in payroll last year, and the Arizona Diamondbacks were 13th, and the Padres were 15th. So you already are playing catch up monetarily, which again isn't everything. Let's be clear: you don't have to be the number one spender to win. Nobody's asking them to be the number one spender, but you are, you're in a division that is competitive, where the Giants do have a desire to spend. Nobody has more of a desire to spend in Los Angeles. In Arizona, also World Series appearance recently, is clearly willing to be a top 10 or 15 spender as well. You don't have to worry about Colorado, but the other teams you do have to consider yourself. Like, just think about that, Jim. The division next year, forget about the spender, but just the division. Couldn't you forecast the division where the Giants, Diamondbacks, and Padres are all, that could be closely contested between the Padres, Giants, and Diamondbacks, couldn't it? Next year? Good, yeah. Absolutely. trying to look up rules. Yeah. For like the last 5 years. The last year, Dodgers at the start of the 2024 season, opening day, like payroll 220 million. Is that because of Thomas year? Maybe. I thought the same thing. I don't know. The Mets had the highest 3-1. Yankees, Astros, Phillies, Braves, Blue Jays, Dodgers. Yeah, that's what I have. Padres are 15. Yeah, 15. They were. Yeah. So Dodgers won the World Series, top 10 payroll. It kind of fake numbers because 2 million. 2023 World Series champion in 2023 was Jon. That Texas Rangers. I'm watching this match. Okay, that's right. You check out this show. They came in at 9. Okay. Top 10. 2022. You're looking at the World Series champion was the Atlanta Braves. Came in at number 8. Okay, so you're talking about the top 10. Yeah. 2021. Jon was the Houston Astros. It has to be top 10 at the time, right? Was it Houston Astros? No, Houston Astros was 2022. My bad. 2021 was the Braves. 2022, the Astros. The Padres. Okay. 2022 Astros. They were not top 10. 11th. Okay. I'm not trying to say top 10, but I'm trying to. The point is, Padres remained in like the 15, 16 payroll range. They're you're not seeing many teams with a payroll compared to baseball win 15, 16 win World Series. It just doesn't happen. You have to be a top 11 payroll in baseball to win 2021. That was the period. And we're 13. They can do it financially. It's not about, we always say this, we always run ourselves around in circles to say, but then they tie themselves up with the Bogarts. You know what I mean? Like, it's not about them not having enough money. It's how it's spent. Also, the Braves are like, magic. They sign guys to deals like are ridiculous. Some of the Padres with Colors are really good. Some of last year was really, really good. And other parts of the team tied up a lot of their payroll. Players that all the guys I'm just looking. So 2019, the Nationals, they were 7th to start the season. 2018. Is that the just look at the Red Series. By the way, you made your point. No, I just want to continue to make the point. Let me watch this game. No, I'm trying to go to a team. Red Sox 18, Astros 17, Cubs 16. All right. Astros won in 2017 with a payroll that was 17th in baseball. So you have to go back to 2017. Team that was in that bottom. Yeah, that started the year in that bottom half that ended up winning the World Series. Now that team also acquired Justin Verlander at the deadline. Yeah, but you have to go back to 2017 to find a baseball team that was in the middle to, I guess the middle of the pack. Yeah, that's middle third. Yeah, middle third. 15, 16, 17, that range. Yeah, where the Padres are looking to live now. That went on to win a World Series. Everybody else, top 10 or just outside the top 10. I don't think payroll can hold them back from winning a World Series, or will be the reason that will hold them back. But there's some headwinds. I mean, there's real headwinds. When you're in a division with the Dodgers, you can win a World Series. You just proved that within the last 7 years, the team has won a World Series with a payroll that's lower than the Padres. So it's not that rare. But also back in 2017, Jon, the highest payroll in baseball to start the season was the New York Yankees at $168 million. Well, yeah, so they've all gone up, including the Padres. The Padres would have the number 1 payroll in baseball if this was today. Or no, sorry, the Dodgers were the highest. Sorry, my bad. In 2017. Dodgers were the highest in 2017. But still, you have the 25-man payroll here. Like the highest was like 169 million. or 170 million. Now
but they've all gone up.
But now the highest payroll in 2017, John, to start the year, their 25-man roster. Now it's 26. It was $170 million. That was the Chicago Cubs. The Padres last year had a higher payroll than that.
Right.
So inflation goes up, money goes up. Can the Padres
keep spend
to a level where you're either right at the top 10 range or just outside the top 10? Because history has shown
that's what you need to do.
That's what you need to have to win a World Series, unless you have a one-off year like the Astros when they were a middle to lower half payroll in baseball.
I think the answer is probably yes. I think they could probably sit in that 10-12 range. We have to see it, but I think the answer is probably yes.
Listen to this. In 2017, okay?
You just want to go commercial free?
No. The Padres 25-man roster came in at a whopping $29 million.
The Padres in 2017 had a $29 million payroll?
Now, their total payroll was $71 million, but their 25-man roster to open the season.
Right. Nah, that's kind of fake math.
It's fake math.
Right.
It's like the Hosmer deal still in the books, and that counts towards the total payroll.
Exactly. Whatever they're spending is what they're spending. But yeah, I hear you.
Do you want me to tell you more? No, I'm just kidding.
Why don't you tell me more? All right, we're giving away Aztec basketball tickets on the other side. If you missed our conversation with Trey White, huge news for Sean Lewis and San Diego State's football program. Trey White, Tano Latuli, Chris Johnson, Dale Sean Staley, an offensive lineman as well. Ross Ulagulu Masiuli. Say that 3 times, Jim, because you made me say it 3 times earlier. Anyway, you'll hear from Trey White at 5:30. We'll give away Aztec basketball tickets as well coming up. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. All right, hey guys, it is Jon and Jim for our friends over at Hamul Casino. It's an amazing time of year to get out to Hamul all month long. Every Monday this month here in December, you've got a chance to win luxury handbags, maybe for your significant other. Top brands, Louis Vuitton, Versace, 10 winners every hour, 7, 8, 9 p.m. Onyx players receiving an extra $100 cash bonus, plus one lucky winner. Each hour gets the opportunity to pick a purse packed with cash up to $25,000, and you'll get to keep the purse too.
Yeah, and after you win your luxury purse and hopefully a whopping $25,000, head over to Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, Loft 94, or their poker room to watch UFC 310, which is tomorrow night at 7 p.m.
All right, so that's tomorrow night. And then, of course, there's New Year's Eve, and you can celebrate with the holographic New Year's party. Celebrate in style as we'll kick off festivities with $20 in free play for all, beginning at noon. An unforgettable New Year's celebration. Join them at Hamul.
Yeah, they have great dining experiences. Emerald Chinese Cuisine is back with their brand new look and refreshed menu. Tony Gwynn Sports Pub has amazing food as well, and they have all the sporting events that you want to watch on the TV. Get to Hamul Casino today. It's fun above all else.
All right, we are kind of into this Mountain West title game. UNLV Boise State underway, Albert Stadium on the blue, so to speak, and Boise just had a dropped third down completion. That's one you might want to have back, Jim.
Yeah, that's a bad drop, John.
That's a bad drop.
So very bad drop.
They're scoreless midway through the first. UNLV had a huge loss on their first drive. They were moving the football, then took some huge loss. We were talking about something. But again, like laying it out clear as day, winner is in the playoff. If it's Boise, they probably have a bye.
Yep.
All the way to the quarterfinals. They're off for the rest of the month. They would play like the weekend of New Year's or New Year's Eve. I mean, they'd have 3+ weeks off. But the loser of this game, think about this, Jim. As good as Boise was this year, Ashton Genty in the Heisman conversation, winning every game they played except one against number 1 Oregon in Eugene on a last-second field goal. As good as they were, they lose this game. How do you remember that season? Like we talked about the Padres, as good as their year was, and then they lose to the Dodgers like that. It's like, how can you call it, a most special season or this iconic season if you lost tonight at home to UNLV with a bye on the line?
It's like you win, you get a bye, you host a playoff game.
No hosting playoff game in the quarterfinals.
Oh, that's
Only
right.
the first
Sorry,
round.
my bad. That's right. Because
But there's no hosting probably for them.
But still, going to a big one of the 4 big bowls,
it's massive
wherever they go.
But now you're talking about bye or out.
It's like bye, then like I don't know, Sugar Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. Rose Bowl
out to the LA Bowl, the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl. That's what essentially what happened.
Yeah, that's what's on the line for them. Now UNLV's a little different because it's like they gotta win.
Yeah,
they're on the outside looking to get in to the field. If they get into the field,
same for bowls.
But if they get into the field, they'll be like the 12 seed playing at Notre Dame.
Okay,
or Penn State.
But I'm still better than going to the.
But I'm saying
LA
Boise.
Bowl.
This has been in front of Boise all year.
I know
they've been chasing this thing down, and I think UNLV too has kind of been chasing this down. You made the interesting point. I mean, you have two teams that as of now are heading to separate leagues. You have Boise with San Diego State and Oregon State, Washington State, Gonzaga on the basketball side, others. Like there's also that bragging rights going on. The old Mountain West, where UNLV as of right now is staying, the new Pac-12, where Boise State and San Diego State and others are heading. That's kind of feels like that's a little bit on the line tonight.
Yeah. Do you know who Ryan Spielborg is?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Works MLB Network Radio. Brent, do you
Former
have this
player?
audio?
I don't think so. Did you put it?
I put it in the rundown.
Do you have Ryan Spielborg's?
Yeah. Okay. So Ryan Spielborg, MLB Network Radio, Roki Sasaki.
Does he know him?
He does not know him,
Okay.
but he makes a really good point about Roki Sasaki, and he compares him to a player this year that we talked about a lot. That's Paul Skeens, saying that this could be whoever gets him, their Paul Skeens this year. Listen to Ryan talk about
Say
Roki
that exact
Sasaki.
same thing.
Like this is the equivalent of baseball being able to get Paul Skeens. I mean, this is Japanese Paul Skeens coming over. That's what you're going to get too, because it's under the league minimum. So he's going to make league minimum next year if he's on a major league team. So you have essentially a number 1 overall draft pick that's available to you if you can court him, if you can get him to buy into your organization, and to think about that. I mean, like, not free agent money, not having to spend $315 million like the Dodgers had to do on Yamamoto. You're going to just use international signing bonus money. And that's just, I mean, what a, and I love that you said it's like a present under your Christmas tree. I mean, this is a bigger present than that. Because if you consider for league minimum, and let's say he ends up being, a viable starter, let's say he's a 2 or a 3. We just talked about this. The floor for a 2 or 3 starter is $20 million. So you're going to get $20 million of value at league minimum from a 23-year-old with nothing but upside. Are you crazy? Like, that's the best deal ever. And if you extrapolate that for the next 3 years that he's league minimum, you're going to get $60 million of value, assuming he's a valuable starter for the first 3 years at league minimum. It's going to cost you $2 million in salary for $60 million in value the first 3 years. And then, of course, you go through the arbitration process and the value will change. But that's, CJ, you can't make a better deal than that. That's the bet. This will be the greatest deal a team will have this offseason is getting Roki Sasaki.
Yeah, I think Ryan says it perfectly. That
you know who else said that? Oh, us 100 times.
I know, but it's not just us. It's a lot of people around baseball saying this is the best bargain for your buck.
Yes.
And there are some people out there that really do think, he could come in right away and be that Paul Skeens for a team right away.
How many innings did Skeens end up throwing this year? It was
a little under 140. I think 130 something.
Maybe. I mean, again, he threw 111 last year. I'm talking about Sasaki.
Yeah.
And if you get a 20% bump, which is possible, although he pitched every 6th day in Japan, is he really going to pitch every 5th day here? But if you got a 20% bump, he could throw 140 innings.
Yeah. And if you get a guy that gives you, two types number two starters type of stuff, can't even speak, then it's just going to be an amazing get.
On the other side, let's hear from Trey White. What?
Nothing.
No, yeah. Oh, wait. Roki Sasaki was going to be a big deal for the team that lands him. We know. Thank you, Ryan Spilborg.
We got 4 hours, John. What else you want to talk about?
I want to talk to Trey White.
How about we just watch the football game? And
I'd be happy to, Mr.
Show.
Niners.
Okay.
Who are like 5-30. So we're not watching them. All right, we're going to hear from Trey White. He joined us earlier today. He's back, one of the star defensive players in the Mountain West, the edge rusher that was top 5 in sacks and tackles for loss nationally. Trey White and others are back. If you missed it, we'll hear from Trey White coming up next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Progressive. We'll start with San Diego State announcing today multiple starters and key pieces to the Aztec football team returning next year. The biggest one, Trey White. You'll hear from him coming up next. Danny O'Neal had shoulder surgery on his non-throwing shoulder earlier today. Football happening right now in the Mountain West Conference title game against Boise State and UNLV. We are scoreless with 4:40 left in the first quarter there. Boise has the ball, and they are driving down the field as we speak. San Diego State basketball takes on USD tomorrow night at Viejas Arena, 7 p.m. tip time there. And NFL this Sunday that can be heard right here on San Diego Sports 760. Starting in the morning with the Raiders and the Bucks, followed by the Bills and Rams and the Chargers and Chiefs in the nightcap. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com today.
Jim said Trey White is going to be back in 2025. Aztec edge rusher had one of the top defensive seasons in the country. And TFL. Scored? Yeah. Turn your mic on.
Yes.
Latrell Caples, who had 3 touchdowns against the Aztecs, is in the end zone, and Boise State leads 6-0. 3:51 to play in the first quarter.
Look at this catch.
Oh, really nice. Now, did he catch that?
Oh, yeah.
Did he?
That's
Okay.
a catch.
Join San Diego Sports 760, ESET, SeaWorld, and Sesame Place to support Rady Children's Hospital this holiday season. Hear stories of hope and healing from Rady Children's patients and families during the iHeart Rady Children's Give-a-thon. Supported by ESET, your digital guardians. Make a donation today by texting KGB to 51555 or donate at radyfoundation.org/give-a-thon and listen next Wednesday and Thursday. All right, Trey White, Tano Latuli, Chris Johnson, Dalshawn Staley, standouts on defense. Ross Ulagulu Masioli also back in 2025. We had Trey White on earlier to discuss his decision. We started by asking him about why he ended up returning in 2025.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. And I just felt like there was some unfinished business that we had to do. You know, my goal has always been to win a championship here, and I'm sticking to that. So I'm excited.
Was it difficult for you, or was it a fairly easy one? Like you said, you know, you have unfinished business here. You want to win a conference championship. Like how much thought went into this decision for you once the season ended?
You know, every decision that I make isn't taken lightly. You know, I had to talk to my parents, and you know, I just felt in my heart that it was right. I had to keep praying, and you know, at the end of the day, this just felt right. So I just went with my gut, and you know, kind of the familiarity with the program and the coaching staff. I see Coach Lewis's vision, so I'm really excited for what's coming.
Trey White is with us right now. Again, had a remarkable season. Obviously, he wants to win, like you just said, at a higher level than 3-9. Hence the line you just mentioned of unfinished business. What does it mean, Trey, to be returning with some of these other stalwarts on the defense? And we could talk about the offense too, with Ross Ulagulu Masioli announcing he's coming back. But Tano, a San Diegan, coming back. Chris Johnson, Dalshawn Staley. Like, what does it mean to you collectively that you're all collectively returning?
Yeah, it means a lot. They're all a big part of our defense. Me, Tano, and Chris are actually roommates. Oh. So we've definitely been talking for sure. And we definitely want to get a ring for this organization and this program, because we feel like it's been a long time coming just because of the standard here. So we're definitely excited, especially Ross coming back too. So I'm definitely excited for what's to come.
And going into next year, year 2 under Sean Lewis, you know, you talk about the vision, and you have bought into this vision from Sean Lewis. What is it about him in a tough year like this that gives you guys so much confidence that you can reach these goals?
Yeah, he's just a great leader for us, and he wants to win as much as we want to win, you know, and as soon as we can get guys on the same page and bought in on the team, then I know I could see where he's coming from, everything he preaches. You know, you see it, like where you see it working, you see flashes, but we just have to be able to put it all together on all 3 phases of the game.
How prideful is it for you and the other San Diegans? You're out of Chula Vista, but for the players that are out of San Diego County or nearby counties, how much pride is there in it for you to put on the red and black and represent San Diego State?
Right. Obviously, we didn't have the season we wanted to this year, and that kind of hit me in the heart. So I couldn't leave this place without, you know, making something happen here. And, I take a lot of pride in me being from San Diego, and I grew up watching San Diego State. So, I want to bring a championship here.
How much blame do you put on me and John for when you came on with us a couple months ago and we were talking about 20 sack season and it didn't happen for you, but having 12 and a half sacks this year was a great accomplishment for you this year.
Yeah, I don't put any blame on you guys at all.
It's our fault.
No, yeah, I'm the one playing, so it's on me. But also, game plans change week by week, and schemes of offenses that we plan are different. I saw a couple more double teams and things like that. But that's a part of the game. As long as it opens up other avenues for my teammates to make some plays, and I'm all good with it. Stats don't mean anything.
Trey White with us right now, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Trey, can you describe for our listeners the importance of the collectives in college athletics? I'm thinking specifically about the collective regarding San Diego State football, Aztec Link. I know, obviously, collectives and NIL are playing a large role in the college athletics space. How significant is Aztec Link for the future of San Diego State football?
I think it's one of the main pieces to the future of Aztec football, to be honest. Just the way the landscape is for college football, if you want to retain your players or, get some great players out the portal, then I feel like that's a really great thing to invest in for the future here if you want to see a lot of championships come here.
So I probably know this answer, but I'll ask it anyway. Off season now for you, what's next for Trey White? Is it just, continue working or what's on the agenda here for you now that you have made this big decision that you'll be returning to the Mesa next year?
Yeah, so I wanted to give my body probably like a week or two break since the season just ended. It's been a long season, so but after those 2 weeks, then I'm gonna get right back to work. I definitely want to elevate my game and just be better than I was this past season.
What part about your game that you really want to work on to improve this offseason going into next year?
I definitely want to work on my power. For sure. I feel like that was really underutilized in my game. And just my overall pass rush and run stop. I feel like I have so much to work on, and that's what excites me. I can be so much better than I was this year, and I know I can. But I'm just excited to show it off this coming year.
Again, Trey White with us. Again, a San Diegan returning to the Mesa for his redshirt junior year. You look at the landscape, Trey, of college football, and we see what's playing out, for example, tonight, the Mountain West title game between Boise State and UNLV, and likely the winner of that game is in the college football playoff. Has that kind of changed things for, a player like yourself in a Mountain West school where that, like you said, unfinished business, you're a championship away from maybe being in the shoes of Boise State or UNLV in 2025?
Yeah, seeing that one of those teams is going to go to the college football playoffs just gives us hope now that it's possible, because with the old football playoff, there's only 4 teams, so it was like really almost like impossible to get there. But now we see that it's going to happen for sure this year. So, I'm excited for what we can do with this team coming this year, and hopefully we can be in that position this time around next year.
Any thoughts on tonight? By the way, you played both of these teams. You played in Boise. You played in Vegas against UNLV. Any thoughts on how tonight will play out in the Mountain West title game?
I think it's going to be a great game. Yeah. I just hope that both teams leave the game with no injuries. Yeah. And I'm not going to say who I want to win.
All good. Yeah. All good.
If they could both lose, you would choose that, but it can't happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Trey, congratulations. I know a lot of Aztec fans are excited. There's a lot of chatter I'm seeing already on social media, and it's just a big shot in the arm, obviously, for the program to have yourself and other key contributors from 2024 back for next year at Snapdragon Stadium on the Mesa. So thank you for hopping on with us. Congratulations on a great year for you individually, and we'll catch up with you again in 2025, all right?
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
I really like Trey White. I said that earlier.
I like Trey White, and I like his production on the field, and I like everything about him. So,
yeah, there you go. There, you heard it from Jim. All right. The update in Boise is that Boise State leads 7-0. Did we already give you that update? But then the Broncos forced to 3 and out, right? Yeah. And now Boise's got it back, and they're in UNLV territory. Late first quarter, trying to open up a 7-0 lead. Jim said, I'm not even going to say what you said because I don't want you to jinx anything.
It's over.
No, don't do that.
I don't care.
But I do.
That's right.
3rd and 2, first down. Do we have radio rights?
No, we don't. We should probably not do
we
that.
don't have radio rights. Yeah. All right, Jim's back page next.
We should. I can't believe Sammy Leather has 200.
Man, this week has flown by.
Flown by like 12-hour trip to Europe.
A 4-hour trip.
Flown by, flown like a penguin.
And I honestly feel this way. I think I've said it to you too. I said it'll take Eric has not asked. Seven, that would be.
I think people that don't do what we do for a living don't understand like
how hard it is.
Like we aren't an FM show that has
no music.
30 minutes of talk time tops per hour, if that. Have segments that are like 6 minutes long max. So it's like, oh, you guys can do a 4-hour show,
right? But you're just sitting there like drinking coffee during the songs and
like
hanging out.
No, no, we have the most talk time of anybody in the building.
Again, would I try? I love that. I mean, we're talking about.
No,
sports.
I love it. I absolutely love what I do.
Yeah,
I love talking sports.
So you got to get used to the new format,
right?
Like, how long could we? At what point would it be like, oh my gosh, probably 4 hours?
I mean, those 4-hour days, the Christmas week and New Year's week are like gonna be a little bit of a grind.
There might be some best of in there.
A lot of best of.
Maybe some best of interviews and stuff. Yeah. All right, so we're getting used to it. Is the point?
Yeah. But we're not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere as long as you keep listening and as long as Jim keeps having quality content like this.
Five people, John, have won the California lottery by just playing scratch-offs.
Sure, that's how it works. Yeah, absolutely.
5 California lottery players are the newest millionaires after winning a combined total of $17 million from scratcher games.
Are those scratcher games though like the $40 scratchers?
Yes.
It's not the $2 anymore,
no,
right?
No, those are like the $20, $30 ones.
They still. What's the highest price tag on the scratchers now?
Nora Hammersteed, who decided to stop at an Anaheim liquor store in Orange County during her drive home from work.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Won $10 million after playing the Royal Riches game.
Does she want to split
it? She said, "I've won a few $1,000s playing before, but nothing like this."
A few thousand.
It was a shocker. I was thinking, this can't be real. I must be dreaming. I'm going to pitch myself and wake up, and it's going to be one of those days. But she described her week of work as torture, and that this has now changed her life forever, obviously.
Well, yeah, 10 million will do that to you.
Ogene, I can't even say his name, who plays the lottery regularly, won a regularly is another word that I can't say, by the way.
Right. I know. Listening to this, I'm like, what are we talking about?
Won the $2 million top prize on an instant prize crossword scratcher. This is what you get when you do 4-hour shows. It's the last segment of the week. All right.
This is what you get when you do 3-hour shows.
Jose Reyes won $2 million after playing the $10 instant prize crossword game. And Marlu Munoz won $2 million by playing the multiplier craze scratchers game. And lastly, Belinda won $1 million by playing the Power 10 scratcher game.
John's front page starts next week at 2:45.
Is anybody going to the SET?
SET? This is honestly the worst thing I've ever heard. And I've heard some awful segments from you. If you played back, honestly, Brent, the last 2 minutes of Jim talking, he has not completed a sentence without it being a disaster.
Oh, come on, I'm waiting to see who's taking their SATs this weekend.
Yeah, that was among the worst 2 minutes I've ever. If someone has to be driving home right now thinking, like, is this guy? Is there something going on?
I expect this from John because like he's into this football game. But yeah,
this is just.
I can't speak, dude.
I know.
Go on.
Anyway, what were you saying about the SEC or whatever? Or the SETs? Want to show it to me and I'll read it?
No, the SEC championship game tomorrow in Atlanta.
Yeah.
If you're going, they have a amazing food item that you can get for just a low price of $30, John.
Hey, that's the cost of a scratch-off ticket.
Yeah.
A rack of ribs filled with mac and cheese, Ritz cracker crumbles, scallions, and kettle chips. In a Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
That's not a catch. Oh, sorry. Okay. Well, if I'm in Atlanta tomorrow, I will.
Okay.
Something
that might affect
in Canada.
Yeah, something that might affect everybody here in San Diego is Chipotle announced they are raising prices by 2% due to inflation.
How are we not reviewing that? Okay.
Now we're done.
We are so done. I'm sorry. We're doing two different things.
Yeah.
I listened to you for 90 seconds and it was among the worst 90 seconds of my last decade. So I, at that point, completely tuned out.
Dude,
started watching Boise State UNLV.
If I listen back to that,
you have to listen back.
It's gonna be awful.
We need to like post how awful that was. Like that would make any college radio segment I ever did look like a Golden Globe Award.
You win like
I would have won
Marconi.
Like, yeah.
Well,
like if you did that day one in college, they'd be like, maybe you should think about something else, little Jim.
Little Jim. I'm like 22 years old.
You were 22 day one in college?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Remember when he was playing basketball, like
junior college?
But he were playing against like seventh graders.
What?
We talked about that one day. You're like, yeah, I was 12. I don't even know.
Bro.
It has been a long one.
I'm done.
Are you gonna, what are you gonna do when you go home tonight?
I'm gonna rest and do nothing and watch this game and probably make some dinner and that's it.
Okay. I'm gonna watch this game. I will eat dinner. And there's some other conference championship games on tonight. And then, like you said, tomorrow, if you're gonna be in Atlanta for the big Georgia Texas game,
get some of that
you know what? Maybe I'll
those
go.
ribs.
Maybe I'll
mac
go
and
for the
cheese.
ribs. Sounds awesome.
Do I have anything else on this stupid back page?
Do you?
Coming in February, Hershey's and Reese's is going to be debuting a new Hershey and Reese's Pieces dark bark.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
Dark chocolate bark.
Yeah, I like that.
I love bark. Like the chocolate bark. The chocolate bark.
Off the upright and no good.
What is happening?
It was actually off. What's the part of the upright that's not the upright?
The crossbar.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, House Arena by we. I mean, tomorrow at 6 p.m. Tip off the 10 line just after 7 p.m. City Series game. San Diego State, University of San Diego, Toreros, Aztec tomorrow at 7 p.m. Hope to see you out there. Please say hi if you are there prior to the game. The UNLV dude just missed a 40-something yard field goal short. Okay. Boise quarter. We're back Monday. Yeah. If you missed anything today, you'll find it somewhere. Google it. For Brent and Jim, I'm John. Keep it here at San Diego Sports 760.
Goodbye.